your vocabulary. You know, we put you a step ahead of others, and that we improve your English grammar right here on the show. So our word for today.
Today's word is another one of French origin. T-E-T-E hyphen A hyphen T-E-T-E, and the T has an accent on it. It's tete-a-tete.
No, Lorraine, we are not French speakers. We are English speakers. It's tete-a-tete.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Tete-a-tete.
Exactly.
Not tete-a-tete.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
That's us having a tete-a-tete.
So what's a tete-a-tete? What does it mean?
Tete-a-tete is a noun, and it's an informal, private conversation between two people, especially friends.
Oh, so that was our tete-a-tete.
Exactly.
Oh, so let's exemplify it. The queen and her husband are always having a tete-a-tete. Tete-a-tete.
So that's our word for today, and I'm sure you're smiling. You're asking yourselves, but all this while I've been saying tete-a-tete, tete-a-tete. Well, we are English speakers. It's tete-a-tete. So this morning, you and I will be having a tete-a-tete here on the show, and I'll also be having a tete-a-tete with my guest who will be joining me in studio for the breakfast review, as well as the exciting interviews that we've got lined up for you this morning. But you know what? Let's get groovy with our video for the morning. And clearly for the millions of youth who are wondering, will it ever get better? Charlie, Jah will wash away your tears, yeah? Just stay. We'll make things happen in Ghana. Right, it's time to bring you Inside Out. Inside Out this morning, we are gearing towards the elections on the 7th of December. And one of the things that we have talked about consistently, we've heard the Peace Council talk about, we've heard Media Foundation for West Africa talk about, is decorum. And then how we would ensure that as politicians on the campaign trail, our speeches do not incite some level of violence. How we can tame our tongues on the campaign trail. I want you to watch a video. Right after that, we'll just talk about it shortly. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
NDC 4 Amu 2024 Apano, and now you're winning. I'm winning. Don't go check your record. I'm winning. Now MPP Amano Kono. Yes, you say you better win the election. MPP. Yes, you say you better win the election. It's the enemy. Why be asked why you better win the 2024 Amano? You better so. But yes, you have a question. You better win the election no.
So you heard the man, you saw the man, and you saw how he was very energetic about, energizing the base of the party. Listen, I understand. It's a political gathering. You have your people there. You want to charge the atmosphere. You want to galvanize the base. You want to make sure that they feel that victory is assured. I mean, I understand. Nobody goes into an election with a mindset of losing. Granted. But then I want to find out from you, Dr. Brian Champon. Recently, you've been in the news, not for the best of reasons. In fact, you've had to fight your way to the extent that at a point you had to now abdicate your interest in a business transaction because Ghanaians were not happy about it. Ghanaians voiced out against it. Now this same Dr. Brian Champon gets the opportunity to address the people of his party. But you see, the thing about this is that when you're speaking, you're not only speaking to your party people. Because there are millions of people who do not belong to your party who also listen to what you say because it is covered. The media is there. So please, sometimes we need to be very measured in comments we make. Like, we are winning the elections by any means necessary. And then you add, yes, you have the imams, you have the pastors, you have the traditionalists and all of that. But you see, these comments, the question is, when someone else is listening to you, does the person have the benefit of listening to you and knowing your thoughts and intents? No. So how do we ensure that on the political campaign train, we do not find ourselves rather inciting people? Because just as you are very ingrained in the NPP, there are others who are also completely, in fact, their bloods are political colors. And so when such a person hears that you say you win the elections by any means necessary, if they don't understand, they can go and bend the sea. Yes, that's what he said in Chi, by the way. How do you expect the people to react to this? And we have just a few months to the elections. I'm very excited about the fact that these days we don't see the youth openly. We are tired. So you don't get the people who hitherto will be jumping at these things, jumping at it again. But the question is, there are others who have not come to see the light. There are others who have not decided to be as democratically and they don't just take things like that. No, because people have been in opposition for years. There are certain parties that have been in opposition since 1992. And then you tell these people that you are winning the elections by any means necessary. If they don't understand, they can go and bend the sea. How do you expect them to take it? Doc, how do you expect them to take it? There are young people who are voting for the first time in this year. And they have heard so many things. Their families believe in certain political ideologies. Some have so much energy. Some are already frustrated. And that's the challenge. Youth unemployment has hit over 14%. People are unemployed. They are frustrated. Some people want things to be done in a certain way. Then you get the platform and say that if they don't understand, they can go and bend the sea because you will win the elections by any means necessary. How? Is it your political party that gets to win elections, or it is the mandate of Ghanaians that is given to a particular party to govern? Ghanaians will ultimately decide. And I'm sorry to disappoint you, sir. Not all Ghanaians are MPP. So you cannot have that confidence. The best you can do is to say that, yes, you have done enough to win the mandate of the people. Now I'm doing Communication 101. You can say that, and nobody will get angry at that. But to say that you are going to win the elections by any means necessary. I was not there, some. I might not have heard your intention and the thoughts behind it. But this is what I see. And how do you expect people to react to this? Listen, we beg you, politicians, we beg you. This is the Ghana that we have. We don't want you making commentary that would inflate things here. No, the tensions are somewhere already. We don't want to have a situation where Ghana is going to boil. Because if Ghana boils, I don't have anywhere to go. You can go somewhere else. You can afford to take your family somewhere else. But we don't, let's refrain from these things. And build our own Ghana. One Ghana, simple Ghana for the people here. If we say that youth are the future, please, this is not the kind of things we want to hear. I'm sorry. Doc, I'm sorry. Honorable Great Minister, I'm sorry. Tell us, planting for food and jobs. Now we can buy yam, tubers of yam at cheaper prices. And I would appreciate that. And not that you win the elections by any means necessary. If people don't like, they can go and bend the sea. I can't bend the sea. I don't know how the sea is bent, by the way. So, Dr. Brian Champon, please, let's tone down. You see, politicians, let's learn. We already have a situation where there's a sharp disconnect between the political elites and then the common people. We, the common people, and the political elites, there's a sharp disconnect. We don't need to be making comments that might seem to further widen those gaps. No. Please, we just want to go to the ballot on the election day. Just cast our ballots, go home, wait for EIB Election Hub to tell us finally how the processes have been. EC will tell us who won, and then we'll all move on. Simplicity. So, Doc, please, let us tone down on these commentaries, because they have the tendency of instigating violence. They have the tendency of getting people worked up. I'm not worked up this morning. I'm just expressing my take on these commentary. Because we've had situations where even comments that are not up to this magnitude have sparked violence elsewhere. Yes, because of the political climate. So please, let us tone down. And this is not just to Dr. Brian Champon of the NPP. It's to the NDC, the PNC, the PMP, all the other ones, all those who want to get the mandate of the people. Because ultimately, Ghana will decide. It is not what you say. No. It is what the people decide to do. If Ghanaians decide not to come out and vote in December, how will you get that power you are saying that you get by any means necessary? And you can't come to our houses and coerce us to go and vote for you. The best you can do is to give people money they will take, and they can decide not to go and vote. How do you get the power then? Please, let's be real with people. The Ghanaian electorate is very, very, very clever these days. We have moved beyond this petty politicking. No, we don't do just partisan lines. No, people are becoming very enlightened. So talk about issues. Tell people what you have done. Tell people what you will do. Those are the things people will vote on. And after all that you have said, they will now measure that against their lives and their livelihoods and see how it's reflecting. That is when they will give you the mandate. Not when you come and stand on the campaign platform and then because the flag bearer is behind you taking videos or checking his WhatsApp messages, you say, we will win it for you. No, my brother. You are my father. Dr. Brian Champon, my father. I beg you. Let's just keep it undertone. Let us have a very beautiful issue-based campaign. Not just anchored on emotions, not anchored on presumptions and anchored on inflammatory commentary and the likes. No. We are very discerning now. So please, these things would not wash, honestly. people are living lives. People are seeing in the Gen Z balance. Some people they are seeing top, others are not seeing top. But whichever ways, they will ultimately decide who they want to lead the country, and that's simple. Without the people of Ghana, without the mandate of the people, there's no political party winning in December. Because ultimately, it's about Ghana. We want Ghana to win, and this is not how we are going to win. Because we've had situations where even Kandapa, the National Security Minister, said that, you know what, whoever does not get to win the election, whoever loses, should be able to concede. Simplicity. Yet, fellow Cabinet Minister says, we'll win it. By any means, we'll win it. If they don't understand, they can do what? Go and bend the sea. Come on. Dr. Brian Champon, good morning to you, and I hope that you are having a reflective morning listening to this. I mean, this is not just my take on it. I'm sure that there are millions of people out there who also believe that, you know what, this is the way we should go. Sir, this is the way we should go. If you want to win our mandate, this is the way we should go. Let's talk about the issues. Let's talk about unemployment. Let's talk about the economy. Let's talk about job creation. Let's talk about food. Food. That is your ministry. Food. Ezeban, let's talk about it. Let's talk about how easy it is to access food or how difficult is it to afford. What I can buy with 100 cedis, can I use that same 100 cedis in 2016? Can I buy same with 100 cedis in 2024? These are the things we should talk about. All right. It's okay. It's okay. We have other segments on the show. And shortly, Mutala will be joining me. We'll have some core discussions among others. But this is our take for this morning. All right, so you're still watching GH Today right here on GHOne television. Let's bring you caught today. Thank you so much for sticking and staying on with us. Mutala, the man who has all the courts filler, has joined me. Yesterday we talked so much about the GBA elections happening on September 11, yes. And we looked at the candidates. One male, one champion so gender balance. So the affirmative action bill is actually working in
all sectors.
Yes,
you know, the Institute of African Women in Law is actually advocating for something like that. Right. They said, look, in all areas, let's have lawyers, especially women, in executive positions, so that whenever decisions are taken, there will be that fair representation. Also, there's that championing. I was asking someone, Lily, the last time. So, who is advocating for the men? I will see the men organization that is, we are championing. It's all about women.
But they tell you it's a man's world. So, what's happening?
Yes, this morning we'll be telling you about some experiences. We're telling you about the people in the field, the players, the industry players. Without the courts or without lawyers, there's no courts. The judges will go there, sit down, and then you won't have any lawyers appear before them. We've been speaking to an author who is also a young lawyer who is coming up, and it's been amazing the kind of things that you hear this morning and in relation to these various segments and all that. Yes, so
wow.
She's also a lecturer at Lawe University College, and of course, once you are teaching law, it means that you have really, and she trained also outside the country.
Right.
So life outside Ghana, life in Ghana, when you put the two together, it's more fire.
A lawyer daughter of two professors.
I tell you how the whole be
interesting.
Like. A whole lot of ideas, exactly, a whole lot of inventions and all that. Right. So we're sitting with Naomi Bole Alabi in relation to things that we should express, some experiences that she has had in the course of time. And we are in the legal vacation, right?
Exactly.
How does the legal vacation work at all? Especially for lawyers who go to court virtually every day to go and meet these judges to go and have their cases dealt with. We'll be telling you more. But first, let's go and watch this. Lawyer Naomi Alabi has been telling us about how the legal vacation as a lawyer, how, especially as a young lawyer, what you go through during the course of the legal vacation.
When we started the profession, we were hearing legal vacation, but no one told us the truth that legal vacation is for the judges, right? It's not for us. And our seniors, you know, the big ones, they're also on vacation. So, you know, we the young lawyers by default, really, but I think they went through it as well. I think that's part of the process that I think is a make it or break it. So you can either accept to suffer now and in the next 3 to 5 years be well versed and equipped with procedural tendencies and, you know, armed with knowledge, both in litigation and theoretically, or you can relax a bit and meet some uncomfortable competition as you develop in your career. So I think really the choice is yours, but the earlier you start, quote unquote, suffering, the easier it gets, I think, unless they change CI 47, you're very well equipped with high court procedural tendencies.
So, in relation to legal vacations, sometimes you have to do a lot of things. For the senior lawyers, it is time to go on vacation. But for the junior lawyers, you do the work.
They're still working.
You have to work. You go to the chambers and they are there and all that. But Naomi Alabi Esquire has also been sharing with us how the courtroom experience has been for her.
Of sports. There's another thing I can develop, but they don't have that because AI is just going to do the research for you and give it to you. So there's no extra information beyond the scope of your studies. So really, are you studying or you're answering questions is the issue with AI.
Okay, so that is
Naomi
Bole Alabi. In relation to this very bite that we played, she was telling us about AI. Right. Yes, the effect of AI, the relevance of AI, how students can use AI, and whether it is even helpful for students in law to be applying or using AI to be able to do a lot of the things that we have been asking them to do. But do you know one concern in the system now? When was the last time you visited the mall? And and then you bought stuff and you were issued with a receipt?
I can't remember. Okay,
so when you get digital receipt, how long does this take for you to go and pick it and it's still relevant for your use? You notice that you go somewhere, if not even the malls outside, places you go and buy stuff, they generate receipt for you. It is digitally generated.
Right.
And after a week, whatever information on it is gone. Does it have legal implications? Let's go and hear from Naomi Bole Alabi in relation to that very topic.
Ideally, it shouldn't be a cause for concern. Why? Because this data should be readily available from the entity that provided it in the first place. I think the issue is when you go to this entity and there's no recollection or availability of what you're looking for, then it becomes a problem. So I think this is a data protection regulation issue where really there could be developed timelines that match statute of limitation for such claims, where say 6 years companies keep the data of all receipts, for example, after which it makes sense that they can delete because the statute of limitation for such claims may well be within 6 years or 2 years or whatever the law says. So really, yes, this is probably a consumer protection issue under data protection regulation. I do plan on doing so at some point. I did see that in the new proposed bills, there was no consumer protection bill yet again. And I'm sure in the coming weeks, we're definitely going to, do some work on that.
Yes, so clearly you heard that. You go and buy stuff, you're getting receipt, but sometimes if you need to litigate or go to court with such information as your evidence, as your exhibit,
wouldn't have it.
You wouldn't have it. And just making the point that, look, data protection agencies, institutions should probably have a legislation in place. So let's say after 6 months, after 6 years, 10 years, you have to keep those informations intact, but you don't know when somebody or a client will be needing those information so that you provide that for the person. I've been talking to you about AI.
Yes, and it's quite interesting because in the space of legal jurisdictions, among others, robotic. Are we talking about robotic lawyers?
Well, you are getting to a digital age where every now and then things are changing.
Exactly.
But is AI now thinking for people? Are you able to think freely? You have to rely on AI too.
Exactly.
Let's go back and hear from that particular insight.
First, I was quite excited, but being a lecturer, I'm seeing some underlying issues. So I think students don't know this, but we can tell when you've used AI to do an essay. Why? Because
Is that obvious?
it is. One, the tone, the language. Two, the structure. And three, the content. So, for most international institutions, a PhD student will be a lecturer to master's students and undergrad students. What people don't realize is, this is where it gets boring, but in qualitative research, you use small sample sizes. So a classroom is actually the most ideal sample size to acquire data, qualitative data. So if I'm doing a PhD in a certain aspect of company law, 9 out of 10, there's a way I will give coursework or dissertations or assignments or essays to get qualitative data from my students. So there's actually a streamlined, not even marking scheme, expectation of things you need to touch. And it would most likely be in your PowerPoint slides. There are, in as much as I'm all for open education, I also tell people you're in school to pass. There's a way a teacher will teach you, let's say in constitutional law. You'll know that if there's a question on Martin Pebu number 4 or bail, this is how he feels about it. So if it's not a contemporary legal question and is a question that is opinionated, I will answer based on the opinion my teacher gives in class. I need to pass. But this is also how we see that you pay attention in class. So if I'm using students as a qualitative data sample size and there are things I need to obtain for my research and you've used AI and it gives you the most generic skeletal frame without, there's times when I see like 3 different paragraphs and they're repeating the same point. There's no new information. Or you look at some references and they don't even exist. AI invents references. Or there's also a substantive issue where students force their conclusions to match their hypothesis. So sometimes they don't even read the whole journal article they're citing. They've just found 2 lines that support their position without realizing that in page 37, there's a whole shift. They've moved from that position. AI, unless we're able to have courses to teach people ethical ways to use AI, I think it's doing us a disservice. My nieces and nephews come home and they don't even do their homework. They just put it in ChatGPT. So the analysis that we're expecting, the comprehension that they're doing in school, it's the understanding level of Bloom's taxonomy. We're trying to develop that cognitive competence in you.
What danger does it pose to the future population?
Maybe inadequately equipped students, because people you know, when you've genuinely done research on your own, there's so many other things you'll pick along the way. You're reading so many other things, you're interviewing people, you're doing surveys. There's so many other, you may be doing research on sports, and you may realize along the line that in the health aspect of sports, there's another thing I can develop, but they don't have that.
Yeah, so that's the exciting part of it. I mean, the conversation about AI and then how we marry it to be able to get the best out of it. Because AI doesn't have feelings. No, that's the truth. AI is very logical.
It doesn't have any
it looks at certain traits and then it matches up to it. AI does not engender creativity.
So that is why if you are not creative, you are not on your own, somebody will carry your head for you.
And if you don't also adopt AI now, very soon
you'll be left behind.
That's
so you should know when
and how
to be able to apply it and all that. So that is an advice there for virtually everybody who intends to rely on AI. There are so many things you can do with it, but there are also so many things that you have to be very careful when you are applying.
Don't just leave it there and say, "Oh, AI will generate it." No.
If you are the lazy type, you go and pick it AI because you want to be smart,
and it will be AI.
Yeah. So Naomi Bole Alabi Esquire has also been giving some advice. Let's hear.
Everything that people are looking for is on the other side of fear, and I think that fear and courage are like almost the same feeling. You just need to kind of just shut your eyes and do it. So anybody that wants to do anything, accounting, law, engineering, just skip the fear bit and just try. At the end of the day, I tell people, once you're in, the only way is up. Even if it's not going well, just keep trying. One day, you know. So really just, I think we need to just forego fear and what people will say and just do.
Yes, so just do it.
Just do it.
Make sure that you are not, no fears at all. Just take the giant step and then you get to wherever you want to get to. And that's a free advice for virtually.
And you can add Joshua chapter 1 verse 19. Just take your Bible, read it out,
and then you see whatever
you don't have to fear.
Yeah,
you just have to be courageous.
Once you begin the step with the fear, the chances are that you break down.
Definitely.
The foundation will never be strong and all that. So that is Naomi Bole Alabi Esquire. She's a lecturer and an author as well. And I'm talking to you about, this is part one of the conversation that we had with her. Tomorrow, we'll be telling you about, in fact, she has a book.
Right.
Excellence in Legal Education, leveraging Bloom's taxonomy for enhanced legal education. We'll be telling you more about.
I'll pretend to understand.
You pretend to understand. Let's all pretend that we understand. Tomorrow we'll understand.
Thank you.
We'll pretend. So tomorrow we'll have that.
Fantastic.
On this very segment. Absolutely.
Amazing.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Mutala, for bringing us Caught today. And we'll be zooming into the newspapers pretty soon. Let you know exactly what is captured on the front pages of your favorite newspapers this morning. We are also streaming live on social media, on Facebook, on X, and on YouTube. So do get interactive with us there. And we know that Ghana is not the only country going into an election this year. North African country Tunisia is also facing an election. And my colleague Lily Mohammed has been having an interaction with the presidential candidate for the Third Republic Party of Tunisia, Ofa Hamdi. Now, there's a lot happening in there, and Lily sat with her, had a conversation about her disqualification on certain grounds, among others. Let's watch that. We'll be back shortly.
Welcome to our exclusive interview with people across the globe. Today we sit with a presidential candidate all the way from Tunisia. Now, Tunisia is one of the countries that is going to the polls this year in what analysts predict as a high-stakes election, attracting a lot of opposition because 14 candidates have been disqualified as at Saturday from the presidential election because, according to the highest electoral body, they failed to secure the electorate's endorsement. Is that truly a reflection on the ground? One of such candidates joins me here in the studio. She's Alpha Hamdi. She has a burning desire to lead her country, Tunisia. She was a presidential candidate for the Third Republic Party of Tunisia, but the political setup in that country changed the rules. Now, to be president in Tunisia, you have to be at least 40 years old and above. On Saturday, Tunisia's Electoral Commission said it had preliminarily accepted only 3 presidential candidates, including the incumbent Kais Saied, amid widespread criticism of what the opposition says are moves to exclude serious contenders. Now, the commission said it had accepted the candidacies of Saied and Zuhair Magzau, who is seen as close to Saied, who is the current president of Tunisia, and then Ayachi Zamel for the October 6 elections, while rejecting 14 others, like I mentioned. This news is not too good, it's depressing for Alpha, but has she given up? What will be her story? We know shortly. Alpha, welcome to our studios.
Thank you so much.
And welcome to Ghana.
Thank you, thank you.
How is Ghana?
It is my honor and pleasure to be here. The best part about Ghana is its people.
Of course. We're very hospitable. We're a beacon of democracy.
Yes.
Which was once the name for your country. Yeah.
And Ghana is an inspiration to the entire African continent and to Tunisia specifically because, you know, and I think Ghana's democracy is way underrated globally. I think if people would know that this country has had elections where incumbents get unseated through elections and through the ballot, where presidents respect the constitution and do not amend constitutions to extend their terms. You know, Ghana is an example and is a leader because it's not even about, for me, the way I see it, it's not about a fragile democracy that, like in Tunisia, we're still struggling to save it and to sustain it and sustain its institutions. Ghana has proven and has resisted the test of time when it comes to its democracy, and that is inspiring. And as a Tunisian politician, I look for that mentorship from the example of Ghana, and I will call and I will share this example with Tunisians because, you know, in Tunisia we might think, and a lot of people, even in Africa, they think democracy is Western-made and therefore it's not fit for us or the process is not fit for us. But the example of Ghana gives us the proof that democracy is African and it's African-made.
Right.
And that is such an inspiration. And for me, it gives me hope.
Takeaway.
Yeah, that's my takeaway, and it gives me hope to fight even for it. It gave me oxygen to come to Ghana.
I love that.
I keep fighting.
Let's talk about you, your childhood days. Who were you as Alpha as a child?
Oh, what a question. I was a very good student, always the first or second in my class. When I'm second, I started crying at the time. You know, very shy as a kid, but very curious. I'm the curious type of person. And I think, you know, with time you go through a lot of ups and downs, a lot of challenges. A lot of hardships. I actually left Tunisia when I was 17 to go and study abroad. So I've had this wide range international experience, went back to Tunisia, served in our military and worked in our military, worked in multiple sectors. And so I would say I'm a citizen of the world, but at the same time, my heart is Tunisian, and what I've seen in many parts of the world, I want Tunisia and Tunisians to live it, and that's the best of what this world can offer.
Talking about love for Tunisia, on Saturday, the highest electoral body for your country announced that only 3 candidates are eligible to contest in these elections. 14 of you have been disqualified. How did the news come to you, and how, going forward, how do you want to address the situation?
All right, so, you know, to put it in simple terms, I worry about my country.
Why?
Because when you have an election that actually happens outside of the Constitution and outside of the law, so we're talking about a rogue election, in a country where the opposition is not represented now in the ballot and on the list of the candidates, the opposition is not represented. With that, that's a recipe for instability, not just because of the election or the political crisis, but it's also combined with the geopolitical crisis that we're going through as Tunisia being at the center of the Arab world, the East and the West, the north of the Mediterranean, the south of the Mediterranean. We're also in the center of a social, economic, and environmental crisis in Tunisia. So the conditions for instability are gathering in a sort of a perfect storm, and I can see the storm coming from a little bit far away. And so that happened in 2011 when we had an uprising, which led to the Arab Spring. And what happened in Tunisia at the time had a ripple effect across the region. And so we're surrounded also by countries and governments and institutions that are also worried about Tunisia becoming a source of instability to the region as well. And so I worry, as we are going through this milestone of the presidential election, which should be, you know, democracy and presidential elections are stabilizing forms because they enable people of the same country, and that's the Tunisians, we the Tunisians. It enables us to compete and to choose a direction for the country in a peaceful way. And if we're prevented from doing that, if the presidential election, as it is happening right now, which is outside of the law, happening outside of the Constitution, and I can explain more about that, that deprives the Tunisian people of the ownership of the tool, the peaceful tool that enables them to switch direction, to change, to vote for alternatives that they wish to vote for. So I am quite worried about my country.
You say you see a storm coming.
Yes.
Does that storm include dictatorship? I have had critics and some analysts say that your current president, Said, is taking Tunisia back to the days of dictatorship prior to the revolution. Is that what you foresee?
What I can tell you is that Tunisians will never go back to a dictatorship. And so if dictatorship is served on the menu of this election, Tunisians are not going to choose it. And if the alternative is outside of the ballot, then what are we expecting? A deepening crisis. I'll give you an example. You know, this electoral committee, our constitution, which our president, who is a legal scholar, wrote, and we trusted him to write it, stipulates clearly that the electoral committee must be impartial and independent. The current electoral committee has been appointed by one of the candidates. So by design, it is
which candidates?
Him, the president.
Okay.
So by design, it is unconstitutional. Our law, the law that enabled the president to govern the country after he dissolved parliament and annulled the constitution, which is Executive Order 117, has expired. This electoral committee was appointed using that executive order, which has expired, which means that this electoral committee, per its legal appointment, has expired. And so we're looking at an election happening outside of the Constitution and outside of the law. In a country where we elected this president in 2019, a president that is elected through the ballot box can go outside with the ballot box, not outside of the ballot box. And so I am really worried about this. I worry about the crisis deepening. And I know, I always keep the faith that we'll find a way out of this. But my wish, and that's what I play as a leader of the opposition, is that I call for that transformation and the coming out of the crisis with the least cost possible to the Tunisian people.
One of the criteria that the electoral committee or the electoral commission said that the 14 candidates failed to meet was citizens' endorsement. Did you receive citizens' endorsement?
So the electoral committee lost its credibility in actually making any statement. So this electoral committee is an electoral committee that actually lied about the law, lied about requirements for candidates, mismanaged the whole election. And so, with all due respect to everybody, this electoral committee is not in a position to actually be the one verifying. This team is not in the position to be the one verifying citizen endorsements to any of the candidates.
The new rule says you can only be 40 to contest.
Yes.
You're 37.
So this rule is against the electoral law, which is the law of the land right now, which says the age limit is 35. And that age limit, 35, that was an asset we got through the revolution in 2011. Because the country is a majority youth, 52% of the electoral base is under the age of 39.
Okay.
The youth of Tunisia were the ones who took the streets to unseat the dictator that we had in 2011.
Yeah.
And so it was an asset for the revolution, for the youth to be, for the age limit to become 35. And that's the law of the land, which was passed through parliament and is active right now. Now, changing the law and changing the age limit has to happen through a new amendment that can happen through parliament. You cannot, as an electoral committee, which is the case right now, write a decision, an ordinance, which is not a legislative decision. And so by doing that, what this electoral committee did, it disrespected the parliament, the Tunisian parliament, which is an elected parliament that is in session and that is happening right now. And it actually broke the very same constitution that they're claiming they're respecting, which the constitution clearly mandates that the electoral law is an organic law and can only be modified through parliament. And so there is no way, we cannot have electoral committees that are also becoming legislative committees in a country where the rule of law and in a country of institution, that is Tunisia. And so that's why I was saying that the root cause and the deep root cause that's leading to this crisis and this entire conflict, which I was eliminated on the basis of age limit. Other candidates are in jail because the electoral committee sued them for criticizing them. We have a candidate, another woman, who's a leader of a party as well, who is now sentenced to 2 years in jail because the electoral committee sued her for criticizing the electoral committee. So we are in a position right now where this electoral committee is not only unconstitutional, illegal, is actually waging war against the opposition and is expecting us to believe what they say. We don't believe anything of what they say. And that is one of the crises and the factors that I worry will take Tunisia to instability. And that's why we have, and this is what I called for, and I will call for this. And actually this would be one of my first interviews after the announcement. And so my goal is that we call for this election to be postponed until we can resolve the situation associated with the conditions and with the electoral committee.
So the election is not postponed. What will you do? Will you seek legal redress?
Look, I do not make predictions about the future. That's not what I do. I always handle the situation that I have in front of me. The situation that I have in front of me, which I always trust. I trust in Tunisia's institutions, from our military to our interior to our judicial system. We filed a lawsuit with the administrative court. I trust also the international community in siding with international law. The Vienna Convention is very clear. People who represent governments must be duly representative of governments, and an election happening in this condition cannot give a legitimate representation to the people, no matter the results of it. And so we will work on that. We will work on a key element, which is try to bring Tunisians together, including the president. Because we have to have a national reconciliation in Tunisia. We reached a political crisis that is so deep that it is threatening our national unity. We reached a political crisis that is so deep that it is threatening our national unity. And so it is critical that in the next few weeks, independently of the election, that we find a way for reconciliation and we find a way for even our president, when he gets unseated through an election, he can still be in country and stay in dignity.
Three of the things that formed the basis for the revolution was employment, freedom, dignity.
Yes.
What is the current state of employment in Tunisia?
Well, we're averaging 0.3% GDP growth, so the country is in an economic recession, if not depression. The unemployment among 80% of youth do not have money in their pockets. Unemployment within educated youth with graduate degrees is averaging 50%. So 1 Tunisian out of 2 who graduates from a university cannot find a job. 500,000 Tunisians left Tunisia in the past 3 years. 500,000. We're seeing a mass exodus coming out of Tunisia. And so what's happening is that the slogan of the uprising in 2011, which is freedom, employment, شغل حرية كرامة وطنية in our local language in Arabic. So employment, freedom, dignity.
Yeah.
We didn't solve the employment part of that equation for the past decade and a half. We're going back on the freedom assets we gained, hardly gained and fought for through that through the 2011 uprising, and now we're going to lose our dignity, because when you know that the president that's governing you or whoever is governing you is the minority, you lose your dignity as people. When you know you're run by people you didn't choose, or when you know that your choice has been made for you as people before even going to the ballot box, you lose your dignity. And so we're fighting for that equation. And I would like to just say that the good side of this is that the Tunisian people, and that's why I'm here and that's why I continue to be here, the Tunisian people, despite the hardship, they have shown so much resilience in keeping up and staying loyal to that slogan. And so they're saying, the Tunisian people are saying, we are not going to accept and normalize with a situation that does not provide employment, that means job, wealth, freedom and dignity. And so we'll find a way to make it.
Let's talk about you
Yes.
and your decision to contest for presidential elections. For a 37-year-old, well, the people say, according to the Electoral Commission, the people have not endorsed you. The system is not accepting you. Why not stay behind, enjoy your life?
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, had they been born maybe in another country, I might have chosen a different path. But I was born Tunisian. Tunisia is in my heart. And I'm the kind of woman that look, you have two choices in the world,
What?
you know, which is choice number one is when you face injustice, you fight it, or you accept
That's
it and
true.
live like a victim. Right? My generation, Tunisian women, you look at the ballot now, the list that was retained, the 3 people. Is there any woman there?
No.
No. Do you know that in the voter intention polls for the presidential election, of the top 5, 2 are women, me and another woman. So it's not just about me. It's about the female leadership of Tunisia and the possibility of having a female that is also a commander-in-chief in Tunisia. It's becoming a reality. Men are voting for that. Men are trusting women. Of the 6 biggest political parties in Tunisia, 3 are led by elected women.
Right.
And so, as a woman, as a Tunisian woman, I'll think about that. You know, as a Tunisian woman, when I'm faced with injustice, I have 2 choices. Either accept the injustice and live as a victim, or fight the injustice. And I chose to fight. And so that's what we're doing. Like all of the Tunisian people who are fighting, and how they're saying, you know, there are many conditions and many factors which are way complex that are coming against the will of the people and the right of Tunisians to their own country and to live their dream and pursue their happiness and pursue their wealth and pursue their opportunity in Tunisia, where they don't have to migrate to Europe. They don't have to cross the sea and put their lives in danger trying to get to the shores of Italy. Tunisians want to have their wealth and their opportunity and pursue their happiness in Tunisia. Now the conditions are actually coming against us doing that. And so what we're doing, we're fighting, and that's why I'm fighting.
Is the system fighting Tunisian women in terms of development?
Well, in terms of development, when you look at, so Tunisia has had, Tunisian women, we have been blessed with the process of emancipation, because the country is a majority Muslim country. And for the past 60 years, Tunisian women have worked hard, but also benefited from really an advancement of our rights. So one of the key things that happened in Tunisia is equal rights to the access to the job market, the banning of polygamy in Tunisia, which has been ongoing for a long time, mandatory education to girls. I'm a product of the Tunisian public education system, right? I was raised in a country that did not discriminate, the system that did not discriminate, that did not prevent me from my fair chance to access education and opportunity growing up. And so, yes, these are assets that we have gained. These assets and these rights are now threatened by a collapse of the economic system, a collapse of the democratic system, and by a geopolitical context, which, you know, I always say, when you don't have a seat on the table, you're on the menu. So when you don't see women on that list of in the ballot box, that means that our rights are on the table, and they might be sacrificed so that everybody gets a deal done. And so we have to have an inclusive process in which no Tunisian is left behind. No Tunisian is left behind, and that means women, youth, because when you look at the list of 3, you don't see women there represented. You don't see youth represented.
Yeah.
You don't see actually pro-growth policies represented in there. You don't see free market positions represented in that list, because all left-wing, you know, I'll just say it, you know, from communism to less communist. That's the list we have there. You don't see property rights represented in that ballot list. You don't see renegotiations of our trade agreements with the EU so that we can remove the embargo that we're living in Tunisia, because Tunisia is living an embargo from a set of trade agreements and set of economic agreements which blocked our growth. And so you don't see somebody in there who would negotiate that and who would renegotiate with our trade partners all over. And so the elimination there is an elimination of policies before it being an elimination of me or any other candidate.
What were your policies?
My policy is a pro-economic growth policy. So we have to unlock our GDP growth, because that's what creates jobs in Tunisia. And that's what enables Tunisians to start businesses, to create wealth, to make money in Tunisia. I mean, that's ultimately what we want, you know. And so to unlock growth in Tunisia, we have to break down the binding constraints to growth. And the binding constraints to growth are: our ports are closed in Tunisia. Our trade agreements do not enable investment into any type of manufacturing in Tunisia. You know, I'll share this information with you, and that's a key policy that I'm supported by the Tunisian people to do, and that's why I kept going up in the polls. So Tunisia signed a trade agreement with the EU in 1995. And it was based on this idea that Tunisia would provide lower labor rates for the EU, which would create jobs and attract manufacturing, and then they get an advantage for doing that. What happened is that over the past 2 decades or more, the conditions that created that trade agreement changed. The EU expanded. It incorporated Western European countries who have the same conditions in terms of labor, cheap labor, and so on, like Tunisians. And Tunisia ended up given a lot of concessions and not getting any of the investments. And so we ended up living a sort of an embargo, a trade embargo, for a country that is literally the door.
So you saw that interview there between Lily and Alpha from Tunisia. I'll bring you more of that in subsequent editions of the show. But we are zooming straight into the breakfast review segment. There are quite a number of issues that we'll be looking at this morning. Topical among those would be, of course, the campaign trail of the two main political parties and what has been said. Yesterday was International Youth Day. The NDC also took the opportunity to launch their youth manifesto. Among others, we've also heard from the camp of the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and some promises is also making there, talking about driver's license and how cumbersome it is for you to renew your licenses year on year. So we are going to look at maybe 8 to 10 years for you to renew licenses. We'll be delving into the conversations. And to join me dissect all these issues, I have in studio, my immediate left, I have Ishaq Ibrahim. He's lead lecturer in human rights law, UPSA Law School. Ishaq, welcome. I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing quite well.
When I saw your smoke, I realized I missed the code for today. But it's nice to have you in the studio.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Good morning to you. Good morning to your listeners.
Wonderful. And also, just on his left is Osman Ayariga. He is Deputy National Youth Organizer of the NDC. And yesterday, he was very busy. Osman, how are you doing?
I'm excited to be here.
Right.
I'm doing well. I'm not in the best of economic conditions, but I believe in the next 4 months.
But you're looking very well.
Well, I ought to look very well. I mean,
right.
From here, I'll be going to court, so
okay.
Yes, I have to.
And yesterday, I saw you standing behind Pablo on his right-hand side. You were nodding to almost everything he said. You were in total agreement when you launched the Youth Manifesto yesterday.
Yes, first and foremost, let me say a good morning to the youth of this country, to the youth outside Ghana also, to the youth who are living in a state of hopelessness, and the youth who have lost hope in the current dispensation, to the youth who believe that there's no survival for them in this country. Yesterday marked a serious milestone for people to understand that we all should come on board to build the Ghana we all want to be in, or the Ghana we all want. Yesterday we celebrated two programs, or let me say we organized two programs. The first was the first of its kind, epic novel. That was the launching of the National Youth Manifesto, the first of its kind in the history of this country and in the Fourth Republic. No political party has focused or zeroed down to the youth to discuss teething issues that confront or concern the youth. So we took advantage of the International Youth Day and we launched our Youth Manifesto. So His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was there to launch the National Youth Manifesto from the National Democratic Congress. He didn't only end there, because it was an International Youth Day. He decided to give his whole day to the youth. So from the UPSA auditorium, where the program was epic, it was filled to capacity. Youth from various sects of life were there, some NDC, some not NDC, people from academia, people from clergy, etc. They were there. Market women were there to listen to the message of hope and believing that they all can be part of the train to build the Ghana they all want to be. From there, we also went to the Bukom boxing arena, where His Excellency stood for close to 3 hours to answer questions from every person who was able to catch the eye of the president. He answered questions stressing from the economy to education to taxation, etc., etc. So we want to thank His Excellency the President, and that is what we expect presidential candidates to do. They should make themselves available to the people to answer questions that confront them, questions that demand answers. And that was exactly what His Excellency John Dramani Mahama did yesterday. I would want to also send a thank you message for making time to interact with us. I remember the last time another presidential candidate tried answering questions somewhere in the Bono East region. All it took was one small intelligent girl, I think her name was New Jaria from Techiman NMTC, who asked a question, and the NPP flag bearer couldn't answer the question. He had to run back to Accra to look for the answers to just one question. And he had to halt the campaign, stop the campaign, come back to Accra, look for answers to the young girl's question.
Is that what really happened?
Yeah, that's what happened. Just a single stone, a single question from a very innocent, intelligent girl. The NPP flag bearer had to stop the campaign. He couldn't answer the question. He stopped the campaign, ran back to Accra to come and look for the answers to the young girl's question. But His Excellency John Dramani Mahama understands the fiber, he understands the fabric, he understands the material of this country. He has been there before. He is an experienced person. Ask him any question on this country, the economy, the roads, etc., and he will stand on his feet and answer. He won't tell you I have to go and ask someone. I don't know, I have to ask someone. You know what happened that day. I mean, so that's what happened yesterday. I'm sure we'll go into the details of our promise. So we just want to thank the young people and the media, of course. You were there to make sure that you telecasted our manifesto. You were there at the GHOne Boxing Arena to telecast the questions and answers. So we want to also thank you for your time. And to the young people of this country, it is time for you to join the train to building the Ghana you and I want to be in.
Well, I'll come back to, because there are a lot of issues from the launch and then talking about university fees, among others. But Ishak, talking about International Youth Day and the youth of the country, yes, some people say that, well, with the exodus we are seeing in terms of young people wanting to leave the country, clearly a lot is not happening the way it should happen.
Yes. It's very, very important if a government focus on the youth, because the youth of today is the leaders of the future.
Right.
And it's quite interesting that the international community through the United Nations have chosen a very important theme. From click to progress, it tells us that the digital world is a way forward. Other countries have actually embraced it. India is a very good example. In our own way, we are trying to embrace it. And I'm glad my colleague actually dealt with some of it. Though putting aside the propaganda, let me explain something. I'm not just a lecturer at the UPSA. I'm also here to represent the interests of the MPP. Right. So, putting aside the propaganda, any party that actually focuses on the youth, the very first thing the party need to take seriously is basic education. From the primary school to junior high school to the senior high school, any nation that fails to take this thing seriously is not really trying to address the needs of the youth. Because basic education is education. And almost throughout the world, countries that embraces are now what we call the developed countries. Britain, United States, Singapore and other countries have embraced it to make sure that basic education is taken seriously. They have transformed their countries. 1957, when Ghana had her independence, we were at par with Singapore and Malaysia. In fact, we were slightly ahead of them. But when they took the bull by the horns to emphasize on education, especially basic education, it's where they are today. It is for this reason that I think the MPP government have done very well with the policy of no child left behind on providing basic education, free basic education across the country. People are actually celebrating it. In fact, throughout last week, I was in the Northeast region trying to promote legal education. I went to Wale Secondary. I've gone to Passage Base, STEM High, Wulgo Secondary, Nalilgo Senior High, Gambage Girls. If you see the amount of investment the government has put in, you will marvel, especially Passage Base Senior High. It was built from scratch, and it's automatically Class A school. And anybody at all will tell you. That's why it just started the last 3 years. It's almost at par with its counterparts such as Damasco or some of the schools that you can find in the central region. So I think the emphasis on basic education is a way forward building the future for the youth. Yes, the MPP, the NDC is right. They have launched their manifesto. But they are not a new party. We know them already. They have been in existence for some time. Right. Mama, not long ago, less than 8 years ago, he was in power. Schools were in short of chalk. We also remembers that. How do you develop the youth of today? In your second coming, when your first coming was a complete failure with regards to providing things for the youth. He spoke about employment now. Yes, I admit. Youth employment is a struggle for so many countries in West Africa. During their tenure as Mahama as president, what was the state of youth employment in Ghana? In fact, the MPP is still dealing with the legacy of neglect. It's why we are still struggling. So youth employment is very, very important. So for the team, I actually enjoy it because of the digitization agenda by the vice president. It's very interesting that United Nations itself have chosen that particular team to promote the youth, the future of the youth. And I think that direction is actually proper. After the promise, the give me promise of free first year university, I think I'll reserve it when we actually
because I'll let Osman give us a breakdown of that. But then back to what you're telling me in terms of the work that the NPP has done, especially for the youth in the country. It takes me back to my question. So why are we seeing more youth now feeling like the only way they can make it is to leave the country?
The youth have always felt that way. It's not today. In fact, now things are even getting better.
They are?
Yes. In the 1990s, in the year 2000, when I was in Britain, if you hear the number of boats that was capsizing in Lampedusa in Italy, in fact, you would cry for Africa. I mean, there was a Sri Lankan guy who did it. So it's not today. After migration, it has always been there with man. Yes. As I admit, there is youth unemployment. But it's not just this particular regime. This regime is dealing with legacy of past failures. And some of those failures can be attributed to the NDC.
But that then would be the reason why the NPP was voted into power. If the claim is that the previous government had failed, then you can't be telling us that you are dealing with the legacy of that failure.
Rome wasn't built in a day. 8 years is not enough for any government to deal with that legacy and create employment to cover for all the youth.
But that was the promise, that we are going to change the status quo. We are going to make things better.
The status quo has been changed to some extent. There are a lot of people who have gotten jobs under this particular government. But as I say, no government has achieved full employment. You have to always deal with choices. And some of the choices have made the youth gotten employed. I admit there is the need to do more. And I think the subsequent MPP government is going to do more, especially creating jobs in the private sector. Most of the countries that have achieved huge number of employment, it is the private sector. So creating the enabling environment would actually help. And as you said, the UN even admitted that digitization is a way forward. Almost every country is going towards that particular direction.
Granted.
And it is for this reason that the MPP give me hope that we are going to do it. For the
and you say 8 years is not enough, but I mean, you give timelines to your own selves. No one give the MPP any timelines. You give timelines to which you are going to see certain things happen. And most
the MPP never promised full employment within 8 years. Let's get that particular thing right. No government trial in the world can promise full employment within a specific time. Whilst you may have your projections, there are other variables that can be external or internal forces that create the ways. At the end of the day, government would always have to make choices. And the choice that the MPP government made, such as providing free basic education, for me, it is a way forward. And I think I'm satisfied with what we have achieved so far, even though there's a need to do more. And I believe subsequent MPP government is surely going to do more.
Okay. Now, Osman, let me come back to you. Yesterday, we had the bold promise. I mean, we've heard of free senior high school from the NPP. Now, NDC is talking about free level 100 university education. Tell me more about the policy, because it looks like there's a lot of confusion. People are not too certain. How are you going to get the money? Looking at the numbers, what exactly goes into that?
Yes, before I even go into that, I think I want to react to a few misinformation and misconceptions by my brother. He speaks and creates the impression as though the current MPP government is what is propelling or propagating or actually pushing the agenda of free compulsory basic education. free compulsory basic education wasn't started by this current MPP administration, so I want to correct you on that. If maybe he hasn't been around for a while, as he said he was in the United Kingdom, but free compulsory basic education wasn't started by this Akufo-Addo administration. You believe, or you side with me, that even under the NDC, under John Evans Atta Mills, as part of implementing the F-Cube, we went on an ambitious plan to make sure that we eradicate all schools under trees, basic schools under trees. If you remember, we constructed close to 2,006 unit classroom blocks to make sure we eradicated all schools under trees. So you can't come and sit here and talk about free compulsory basic education as if you started it. No, I won't take that. The second issue also has to do with the issue of unemployment. I mean, with the greatest of respect, you are hovering with a figure of 1.9 million youth who are unemployed.
And they say that is a legacy that they inherited from
the legacy of it's our legacy. No, during our time, unemployment rate was around 8%. You are now hovering around 14 point something percent. So you have failed abysmally in securing jobs for young people. You have failed in creating jobs for young people. Yet, when the young people ask you how many jobs you have created, you have 3 or 4 different figures that is being brought out by different mouthpieces of your same party. Alhaji Bawumia said they've created 2.1 million jobs. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo said they've created 2.3 million jobs. Your own employment minister says you've created 5.5 million jobs. So who amongst these three should we believe? But what we need to understand is that the youth of this country are unemployed. The youth of this country need jobs. You promise jobs. You have been unable to give them jobs. And what even saddens my soul and makes me extremely sad is an NPP youth who is unemployed in the past 7 years, 7 months, who is still shouting it is possible. What is possible? Nothing is possible for you. For 7 years, 7 months, if you're an NPP youth, foot soldier, and you have data on your phone, and all you can do is to be tweeting and shouting it is possible, but then you're an apology.
But how do you know they're unemployed?
You need to rethink. I didn't say that. I said if you're an NPP youth, and after 7 years, 7 months, you are still unemployed, and you are shouting it is possible, then you are an apology. You need to be checked. Because, of course, what we have seen is Bawumia and Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo securing jobs for only their immediate families. What is it? Bawumia's own brother is securing contracts, inflated contracts, over 200 million Ghana cedis. His own wife, the second lady's family, her father has been appointed ambassador at large. Her brother has been appointed at NADMO. Her younger brother is also an aide to her who enjoyed government scholarship and didn't even go to the school. He was sitting in Accra here and chopped the money. So if you're an NPP youth, you are unemployed, 7 years, 7 months, and you are still shouting it is possible. It is not possible. The only possible thing here is that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and his family are enjoying on the largesse of this country. The only possible thing is that Bawumia and his family members are enjoying. The only possible thing is that Samira Bawumia and her family have been appointed into government. So if you're an NPP youth, and after 7 years, 7 months, you are still unemployed and you are still shouting it is possible, I beg you, you need to rethink and you need to join the train to building the Ghana we all want. Now back to the issue of our manifesto promises. I think you asked the question on the
free level 100.
The free level 100 student. Yes. So aside from that, I want to start from somewhere before I come there.
Right. His
Excellency John Dramani Mahama, through the youth wing, we looked at how we could create sustainable jobs, sustainable businesses for the youth of this country, because these are teaching issues and concerns that are, bedeviled by the youth, most especially employment, and the fact that people have failed, the MPP has failed in creating employment for the young people of this country. What we're looking at doing is what we call the GHOne project. What we're going to do is through training, through mentoring, and through some low-interest loans, we're going to train or establish annually 10,000 businesses that will be run by the youth. 10,000 businesses, not 10,000 jobs, 10,000 businesses that would be self-sustainable to be able to create at least 50 jobs annually, or 50 jobs in those businesses. So we are looking at creating 500,000 jobs in those businesses. How are we going to fund them? We're looking at creating the Youth Entrepreneur Microcredit Scheme. That is going to be seed money of 750 million that would go into the microcredit to be able to give some loans or some, stipends to these businesses to help in.
And how's that different from Maslock?
That is different. This is a microcredit. Maslock is an entity that is run through the presidency. But this is a microcredit. The same question people ask, what about the Women's Bank? That is also a bank for the women. But this is a microcredit for the youth of the country to enable businesses, you and I, who want to do one or small business or the other, to be able to, expand our businesses, to be able to export. Also, His Excellency states that most often than not, students who gain admission to universities, usually in the first year, have to forfeit their admission. Most parents are unable to fund or pay for the first year's admissions. So what do we seek to do? That's why we promise, or we push for the policy of the free fees for level 100 or first year students. From the mathematics, people have asked questions. So where are you going to get the money from? What are you going to do? From the mathematics, annually, what you need to pay for public institutions level 100 or first year students is 275 million Ghana cedis from the mathematics we have done. And we are telling you that government machinery spending alone is 2 billion Ghana cedis. This year, government machinery spending is 2 billion Ghana cedis. His Excellency is telling you that we are not going to spend 2 billion Ghana cedis on government machinery. We can take just 20% or 25% of that 2 billion that will be spent through government machinery to cater for this.
So that funding is going to come from the allocation to the Office of Government Machinery?
What I tell you is that we are going to cut spending. The profligate expenditure we have been experienced by this government is going to reduce. Once government is prudent, once government is not ostentatious, once government is able to set these priorities right, we should be able to cut spending, especially in government machinery, to be able to cater for it. It's just 275 million. It can be done, it will be done. At least the whole we dug in the name of Cathedral, it's over 300 million Ghana cedis. The contracts we've given to one person, inflated contracts, it's over 200 million Ghana cedis. The contract we've given to the president's daughter and her associates, it's over 200 million Ghana cedis, so far as the supply of spare parts and also the inflated ambulance supply is concerned. So you realize that it's about government setting its priorities right. It's about government spending prudently. And that is what His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is telling you, that I am not coming in here to spend ostentatiously or lavishly like this government has done. Flying private jets here and there, inflated contracts, people being corrupt, finding money under people's beds. That is not going to happen. We are going to be very prudent, frugal, and make sure that we set our priorities right. And in setting our priorities right, we are going to make sure that we cater for the level 100 fees or the first year fees of students. Going forward, by then they would have been students and they would now be properly eligible to hook on or subscribe to the Students Loan Trust Fund Plus. Then they will be able to fend for themselves from the level 200, 300, 400. Then they leave school. The most important thing is how students get into the school, gain admission, and are able to pay their fees and be able to...
And Osman, you say you've done the mathematics. It gets to around 275 million. And I'm sure the reason why people are also very concerned is that the NDC has told us that the NPP has chewed the meat and what is left is the bones. So if you are left with the bones, how are you going to manage the bones to be able to raise that amount? You've talked about, yes, you're going to cut expenditure, but then you've also talked about taxes and how you're going to scrap all of those other income generating sources. And that's why people are concerned.
All of that has to do with government's priorities. If you are able to cut expenditure in most of the places that there's wastage, we should be able to run this government. You do not need to be wasting so much money in all of these sectors. Talk about government machinery, talk about corruption, talk about other ministries that are overspending, other ministries that are spending beyond their means, beyond their reach. Look at the bloated nature of government. That is why His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has told that he's going to run the leanest government with a very few ministers. All of these policies will reduce government spending, and with the little resources you have, you'll be able to put it to prudent use. That is exactly what government is doing.
So for these level 100s, are we looking at all universities, private, public, or public universities? What exactly is that?
It's a public university policy.
Right.
Yes, so public university. That's why we came up with a figure of 275 million, because annually in the public universities, the admission rate for first year is around 125,000 students. If you multiply that by the average cost of the academic fees, then you'll be ranging with a figure of 275 million. And that's why we're telling you that it is doable. The monies we've lost to corruption is way beyond 275 million. The monies we've lost to stealing is beyond 275 million. The monies under people's beds is beyond 275 million. The monies through bloated contracts is beyond 275 million. The monies we use to dig a hole, a pit, is beyond 275 million. So it's about government's priorities. It's about setting your priorities right. And John Dramani Mahama is saying that this is a priority for young people. And I would not engage in wastage. I will not engage in a prolific expenditure, but I will engage in setting our priorities right. And that is for young people to have access.
Now,
to.
Ishak, you are also in the university environment.
Yes.
So you would also have an appreciation of students' intake and all of that. What do you make of that policy?
Well, before I come to that, he may mention that maybe I'm not familiar with the Ghanaian system because I mentioned I was in the United Kingdom. I mean, one cannot just say that you conclude you're not in Ghana. I mean, in the world of today, you can't actually say that. So, but having said that, I've been teaching in the university in Ghana for the past 3 years. I'm familiar with the university environment. Let's put this in the right perspectives. Aside some Arab countries, there's no country in the world that provide free university education, not even the first year. Britain, for example, home students pay an average of £12,000 to be able to access university education. International students will pay as much as £20,000 to £22,000. The United States is even more extreme. It's much more expensive. So for a party such as NDC, is promising Ghanaians free university education for the first year students. And look at the group they have chosen. They have chosen public schools. I'll come to explain to you why they have decided to say it is public universities that they will focus on. Because they want to underfund them. They will promise. If for some reason they happen to come to government, they will promise, they will underfund first year, pretending it's free. Meanwhile, there is no quality. But remember, if NDC is giving you a promise, look at their track record. We need history for a reason. History tells us how the past have been to help us to predict the future. By the year 1998 to 2000, I was a tertiary student in Ghana. The NDC was the first party to introduce what they call course sharing. That's why there was a mob struggle by students for them to suspend the policy. They refused and said it was not affordable. It was the very party who bring it. Or they are now saying it because John Mahama said Ghanaians have short memories that will forget what they did in the past. It was an NDC.
Well, they say your government has spent so much that when they look at your expenditure, they can be able to cut down and
I will come to that.
Divert those funds.
Of course, but then they were in government when they said cost sharing now, that we did not have the resources. Not long ago, John Mahama mentioned that we couldn't continue to fund training college people, the allowances, and the National Training College, because Ghana did not have the resources, and that he was prepared to lose the election. What has changed all of a sudden? As I said, it's another gimmick to deceive Ghanaians, because first year, for me, the way forward, if I have to make a choice, the choice is to make sure that basic education is very, very strong. If the NDC were to be a serious party, they should focus on the senior high school, that they will provide more funding for them. And I'm glad that he's now trying to own it. He said they started it. But again, they think Ghanaians have short memories. We have seen the beginning of policy, how they were fiercely opposing it. From opposing it to owning it. It tells us that it gives us hope. The decision we made in providing free senior high school was a right decision. Because somebody who was opposing it is now trying to own it.
So you believe
because they did
the policy to give free university education to first year students is because free SHS was laudable? And that's an admittance to that?
They are not even able to cause it. When you ask him to tell us the source of the funding, instead of giving out concrete figures, he's talking about wasted here, wasted there.
But he talked about the amounts to the Office of Government Machinery, and he says if it's 2 billion, we can take 275 million from that, and we'll still be able to run.
These are all gimmicks. They should give out the total costing of everything they say they would do. And as I am telling you from experience, I teach in the university. I know at least I have a fair share of how much it costs an average university student to attend. And I know elsewhere who are even much more advanced than us, who has much resources than us. They say it's not affordable. The very NDC said it wasn't even affordable to provide this in the same university education not long ago. It's now claiming that it's affordable. Less than 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, the presidential candidate for the NDC said it wasn't affordable to provide allowances for training college students.
Was it about the affordability, or that he felt that, well, you didn't need that motivation anymore? The reason
No, he mentioned it. Aside that it wasn't affordable.
Right.
He did say it was there to encourage people to take that aspect of education because of shortage. But then said that even looking at the finances of Ghana, it wasn't just affordable. Now free, so good. The reason why they have chosen public schools, those people who will be going to private university, and the Ghanaians. Why is the focus on public schools?
But that same argument can be made for free SHS.
No, let me explain it. The focus on public schools is simple because they want to underfund us.
How?
The university,
and that's the question I'm asking, because they've told us exactly where they are getting the funding and how they'll be pumping the funding. So how then will they be underfunding based on this principle?
They will simply not make the money available to the universities to run them. Right. We are going to struggle to run universities under their policy. And mind you, during their time, they couldn't provide chalk to basic schools. A party that cannot provide chalk to basic schools is now promising you free SHS. A party that said cost sharing now and that you must pay utility fees in the universities is now telling you not only utility fees is free, but school fees is also free. This is gimmicks. It's just there to deceive Ghanaians and to make mockery of the whole situation. As an NDC, can we really take them seriously as an alternative party? Look at what my colleague said, that a young lady asked Bawumia a question in the, what they call it, in the Bro and a Half region. He couldn't find the answer and had to run to Accra to look for the answers. Was he coming to Accra to look at encyclopedia? What did he come to Accra to do? I mean, let's assume he didn't even have an answer to it. Couldn't the people who were with him help him? Couldn't they make a phone call to Accra? This is what we are talking about, a party that is serious as an alternative party. Look at the propaganda they are pushing through. For me, I would prefer we talk about the issues, cost whatever you say you would do. Right then, I mean, and then he mentioned about Samira Bawumia and her family being appointed. Tell me the appointment of Samira Bawumia. You can say it. We have to remember that when we talk, people who listen to us have sense. They don't just take the garbage and process it and accept it. No. They will look through to see whether we are really making sense or this is actually a proper way to even talk. And this is the basis where how they will make their decision. On that basis is why the MPP is really going to win the next election. That's why the propaganda of lies and all that put forward by the NDC.
Right.
I'll react to a few. My brother is here, but it seems he's still far away from us. When I submitted, or when I stated my submission, or when I made my submissions, I stated the costs involved. And I told you where we are going to cut, or where we would plug to fund it. And you say you didn't hear. So I don't know what again you want me to tell you.
It's not feasible because you are reacting based on expenditure in the current administration.
Yes. So expenditure in the current administration, and we are telling you that based on the expenditure in the current administration, if we cut government spending, that alone is enough to cater for it every year. And you say you don't want to believe it. I mean, the same party that understands review as cancellation, I don't know what other explanation you will give them for them to understand. So that is the problem. And you keep saying that we've not given the figures. We have given you the figures. We've given you where we are going to cut, where we are going to use the fund. You say you don't understand. Your own MPP Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, when he was asked about free SHS, he didn't have the funding. He didn't know the cost. Even the cost at the time, he didn't have it. When he was asked international, he said he's coming to answer the Ghanaian people. He never gave us the answer. So please, when there's a policy, and it is a good policy, and you don't have a policy that could rival that policy, you just have to eat the humble pie and say it is a good policy.
Well, he says it's a policy that is also built on the back of free SHS, because you've now realized that free SHS is actually good.
No, nobody has said free SHS is bad. And we have told you that, so far as free SHS is concerned, we have told you how it should have been implemented. And now we've told you we're going to review it and make it better. And it's in our manifesto. We are going to review it and make it better. Even though they in the NPP understand review as cancellation, and we keep telling them review doesn't mean cancellation. Every day they still believe that review means cancellation. It never meant cancellation. We are going to review it and make it better. And that is exactly what we're going to do. So I have a problem if you sit here and you want to create the impression that nothing is being done. A lot is being done. When we talk about promises, the NPP is the last political party to be making promises to the good people of this country. Why? Don't you know all their promises? One village, one dam. My own village, there's no dam. One district, one factory. My own district, there's no factory. One constituency, 1 million. No 1 million was brought into my constituency. Spoke about roads everywhere. Even the place he said he went to Pesingpe, the road is so terrible. From Pesingpe to Yagaba, the road is terrible. From Pesingpe to Ulugu, the road is terrible.
Watching me from that area.
Go edit the video of the road. I was there last week. So what are you talking about? I was there last week.
I was there 3 days ago.
So please, don't sit there with the greatest of respect. Please, let us not sit here.
Friday, I went there. Send somebody. You are an independent person. Don't send NDC person.
The road from Pesingpe. The road from
to take it from Wulugu to Pasingka.
From Wulugu to Pesingpe. Brother, please, when you're talking, I was very quiet. Please.
But Pesingpe to...
Yes, from Wulugu to Pesingpe, the road is bad. From Pesingpe to Yagaba, the road is bad. It is tried knowledge. Send your reporters there to go and check.
We'll verify that.
I mean, you can verify. I was there just 2-3 days ago. If you realize, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, in the Upper East tour, we added Yagaba Kubori to our Upper East campaign tour. But I came from Tamale, so I used the Wulugu, I used Pesingpe, and I got into Yagaba Kubori to meet with him. So I know what I'm talking about. I said the road is terrible. The road is bad. So don't sit here and assume or say that you have been able to fulfill. Most of the promises under the NPP have not been fulfilled. What didn't you promise? You are going to reduce taxes. You have increased taxes. You've added more taxes, nuisance taxes, baller taxes, etc., etc. You promised young people jobs. You have been unable to give young people jobs. You deceive young people. Today, we have more young people who are unemployed. You deceived us, and young people voted for you. You promised young people heaven. Today, young people are experiencing hell. And you come and sit here and you talk about the fact that NDC cannot make promises. Between the NDC and the NPP, which party is more credible to make promises? The NPP has no credibility. They don't have the moral right. They don't have the political right to make any further promises to the good people of this country. In fact, Mahmoud Bawumia shouldn't be making any more promises, because all we need is for him. He should just come and engage the youth. He should come back. Let's go to Bukom Boxing Arena or any venue of his choice. Let him engage it and let us ask him just teaching questions about the promises they made. They promised us an enabling economic environment. Today, what are we experiencing? The worst form of economic indicators. The economy is in shambles. We cannot afford 3 square meals. We are either doing 000, 010, or 001 or 1000. And this is a reality. Young people do not have jobs. These are the issues confronting young people. Even those who have jobs are underemployed, because the monies they take home as salary cannot even take them beyond 1 week. But in the next 7 days, they are back to zero and they are borrowing. So if you promised us heaven, and today we are experiencing hell in this same Ghana we all belong to, and you think that the NDC is not the right place to make promises, the NPP itself should not be a political party to be speaking anymore, because they have made enormous promises. They have broken their promises, and they just cannot be given an additional day beyond 7 January 2025. And the good people of this country know them. They know them for their lies. They know them for all the TV. They know them for all the scandals. They know them for all the corruption. And that is why the young people of this country, the 1.9 million unemployed youth who have been moved to unemployment by the corruption, by the incompetence of this government, will come out in their numbers on the 7th of December to express and register their displeasure. And that is what they are going to do.
So the ultimate decider clearly would be 7th December, when the people go to vote and decide which political party they give the mandate to. But let me come back to you, Ishak. I mean, we are wrapping up this conversation and then we'll move on to other topics. And in terms of promises, one of the newest promises we've heard from Dr. Baumia is for the renewal of driver's license. It says he doesn't see the need why, in an era of digitization, you should always go and renew year on year and all of that. So extension to 8 to 10 years.
Thank you. Yes, before I come to that briefly, I just want to re-emphasize. Get somebody to go from Wulgo to Pasimpia. I've not gone beyond Pasimpia, but on Friday, I was in Pasimpia. The road is in a better place. It has not completed, but the road is very nice. So get somebody to check that. Beyond Pacifica, I can testify to it. But I've not personally seen it.
Is it a tied road?
But it's not a tied road.
He said it's in a good condition.
We're talking about
the road it's not a tied road, but it's in a good condition. I said the road is a bad road. It's a bad road. It's an untied road. It's a bad road.
The road is a tied road.
The road is not in a good condition. It's a bad road.
In that case, the NDC time, all our roads were bad roads. Me, it is motorable. I enjoyed it. It wasn't dusty as I used it previously.
Right.
So that one aside. Yes, coming to the driving license, I think it's one of the best policies. Again, we can compare it to other countries. In the United Kingdom, it's 10 years. And the 10 years, they are only examining your eyesight. You are not really tested for your driving skills proper. So it doesn't really make sense whereby every 2 years you have to have engagement with the driver's license authority. For them, what would they test? Because as you drive year in, year out, your driving skills would actually improve. So why is it a need for 2 years? So it was good when the MPP moved our passport to 10 years. Again, it is good. And they are also having capacity problems. Why does the driver need to contact them every 2 years to renew it? Yes, so I actually agree that, and I hope that the NDC will welcome it, because this one should be something that should be uniting us and not really dividing us. There's not so much to talk about this.
So that's
a good
feasible
policy. Yes. I mean, what is there? I mean, what is there to examine you after 2 years? Is it that the longer we drive, the poorer our driving skills become? Because for me, as I know, as you drive, you gain more experience. You actually become a bad driver. Nevertheless, I still support at some point, you need to contact the authority, because as we age, our eyesight get bad.
Right.
And we really need to, to make sure that such people are not driving. Other than that, if your eyesight is good and you don't really have problems. For example, some people may have points in their licenses that requires them to go for re-exam. Maybe they were not properly trained. Such people, the police will still deal with them before 10 years, as and when the need arise. Other than that, 10 years should be welcome, and I'm sure the NDC would also welcome it.
Osman, you welcome it.
You see, when I say my brother has been away for a while, he says I shouldn't say he has been away for a while. How can you say MPP moved the passport from 5 years to 10 years? I mean, the passport of 10 years business has been there for a very long time. I got my first passport somewhere in 2009, 2010, and it was 10 years. So don't come and tell us MPP moved passports from 5 years to 10 years. So please, my brother, when you are speaking, speak to facts. And let's speak the truth. If I say you've been away for a while, you don't.
My brother, this is something you can also cross-check again. I have had 5-year passport.
Yes.
And when I have been there, when somebody
you listen to me. See, you're not listening to me.
It is something you can easily cross-check.
You are not listening to me.
If it is a lie, it is something you can easily cross-check. Please, my brother.
You are not listening to me.
It was changed not long ago.
You are not listening to me. I'm telling you that my first passport was in 2009. And that passport was 10 years. So don't come and say that MPP moved passports from 5 years to 10 years. But let's come to the issue of driver's license. Let's come to the issue of
So this is a statement from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, signed on the 1st of April 2019, and it's tagged extension of the validity of passport booklets from 5 to 10 years. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration wishes to inform the general public that government has decided to extend the validity period of ordinary Ghanaian passports from 5 to 10 years. The passport office will begin issuing a 10-year passport as from Monday, 1st April 2019. That's the press statement.
We love this spot checking.
I'm coming.
Because I've had the 5 years and I've seen somebody asking the president to extend.
Let me get
Thank you.
Let me
I think he needs to apologize.
No.
He needs to apologize.
No. Listen.
This is the first we want you to check it.
No, Mr. Ishaq.
Propaganda will not be passed on.
If you are quiet, you will hear what I'm telling you.
So this is what we found from the.
And I'm telling you that. Yes. And I'm telling you that. And I'm telling you that in 2009. I got my first passport.
Which passport was it?
I'm coming to you. Right. So don't come and create the impression as if passports has always been 5 years and MPP has moved to 10 years. Before the introduction of biometric passport has always been 10 years. So with the introduction of biometric, then they decided to move it to 5 years. Then now to 10 years. So don't come and tell us that MPP moved passport from 5 years to 10 years. Passport has always been 10 years. Before it came back to 5 years, it has come to 10 years. So how can that be an achievement from the MPP? So I don't tell that you've been away for a while.
Really talking about achievement.
No, but
I was just talking about common sense.
When I say you've been away for a while, when I tell you you've been away for a while, you get offended.
You don't have. Listen.
You see,
but according to the records that we have, per this statement,
and I'm telling that passports has always been. So you can Google beyond that. You can Google beyond that, and I'm telling that yes. Passport has always been 10 years.
What I was saying,
and it has come to 10 years.
I want to
come and tell us.
So which argument was that? It was in 2019 that it moved from 5 years to 10 years.
Don't tell us that. Don't tell us that you have moved passport from 5 years to 10 years. So because of that, you moving.
He wasn't listening.
Passport has always been 10 years. Don't tell that passport has always been 10 years. And due to the introduction of biometric passport, they introduced a 5-year passport due to the biometric. Because they thought that your biometric actually
as an achievement.
And now beyond that,
looking at it
back to 10 years. So how is that an achievement?
Human being does not really change
Mr. Ishaq.
So his this idea of you've been away for so long doesn't share. I'm always during the period that I was away. I was always in Ghana 5 times a year.
Mr. Ishaq,
you see that? That's not true.
Okay.
Mr. Ishaq, to say you move passport from 5 years to 10 years.
I wasn't saying that as an achievement. I was talking about.
So I'm also stating a fact. I'm also stating a fact. That passport. Listen, I'm also stating a fact. That passport has always been 10 years. Due to introduction of biometric passport, then they introduced the 5 years due to the biometric, so that every 5 years you can come and reintroduce or take your biometrics. Then it was now extended to 10 years. So that is a fact. So let's go beyond that. Now the issue of driver's license, saying that the fact that people go for tests every 2 years has become cumbersome, and for that matter, you want to make it an issue of 8 years
to 10 years.
8 years to
10
years. 8 or 10 years.
8 or 10 years. Yes.
Now, what is the reason behind that? If I listen to him, the reason was that the driver's test has become cumbersome. It's become very laborious, and other countries.
And it puts too much pressure on DVLA, among others.
Too much pressure on DVLA.
And it leads to corruption as well.
Corruption under your government. So.
The driving license has been that way.
Right. Corruption under your government. Corruption under your government is so pronounced. So let's accept it as it is. You see, my brother, this desperation from Alhaji Bawumia, very soon we would begin to experience promises that will be mind-boggling. Don't forget, currently we are even trying to digest the promise of 1 phone for 1 city, which we are not even done digesting.
Even that they've told you took it out of context.
But the president, Alhaji Bawumia said, you take 1 phone, you pay 1 city, 1 city.
Yes, and the explanation has been you are going to pay in installments, and not necessarily figurative 1 cedi, 2 cedi.
No, but that was why he said if he wanted to say installment, he would have said, "Oh, you pay in installment, or you pay, or there's a payment plan."
Okay.
But he was very categorical. He was very emphatic.
1 cedi, 2 cedi.
He said people are going to pay 1 cedi, 2 cedi.
Okay.
So we are still analyzing and trying to digest the 1 cedi, 2 cedi promise of the phones. Aside from that, we are still digesting his previous promises that are yet to materialize or come to fruition. So that's why I told you that Bawumia is not in the best of positions to be making any more promises, because all the promises Bawumia has made, most of them have ended up to be lies. The promise of managing the economy, the promise of giving us a better life, the promise of 1 village, 1 dump, 1 district, 1 factory, etc., etc. All these have become failed promises. So Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia is not in the best place and the right place to be making any more promises. For me, I would not treat Bawumia's promises as a serious matter, because Bawumia as a person has exhibited time without number that he's not a serious candidate. And for the fact that he's not serious in terms of making his promises, I will not take Bawumia's promises seriously. And I'll urge the good people of this country not to take the promises of a desperate man who is trying very hard to be president, who is only trying to break the 8. He's not interested in issues of bread and butter. He's not interested in the issues of the economy. He has overseen and made sure that it has come to its current comatose state. He should be interested in how we can restart this economy, and not promises just to win elections. Not promises and begging people to give you the steer and engaging in comic relief. No, we are a serious country, and these are serious times. People are going through hardship. People are suffering. Enough of the promises. What we need him by now is to be fixing the economy and not running away from the economy. You stop making promises. In the last time I saw a post, he said at least he has understudied the economy for 7 years, and now he's in the best position to understand the economy. 7 years you are still studying this economy. How long even is a university degree? How long is a PhD? And you are the one who say you've been in the Bank of Ghana all this while, you understand the Ghanaian economy. And after 7 years, you are still telling us that it's now you understand the economy.
Well, there have been external exigencies.
Affairs.
COVID-19 has rocked our economy.
Oh, please. Russia, Ukraine.
Yeah.
Please, even Russia, Ukraine. Ghana never experienced any bomb in this country. Even Russia, Ukraine, that's the experiencing bombs and blasts and bullets flying over. Their economy has bounced back. Inflation rate has reduced to 5%. Growth rate is almost 5%. Their currency has stabilized. So how did we get here? Even Ukraine, that experienced bomb blast, they are not experiencing inflation of over 25%. And you in Ghana, that not even a single fly came from Ukraine to hit us. We are rather experiencing the shock. This just tells you that we're already experiencing some underlying conditions that has led to us being exposed as a result of our own mismanagement, our own recklessness, our own stealing, and our own inability to manage this economy. Simple. Bawumia is not in the best of positions. He's not in the best place. He has no moral rights to be making any more promises. By now, he should be apologizing to the good people of this country for not being able to manage this country, not being able to fulfill his promises, not being able to do what he wanted to do or what he said he would do, and not being able to prove that he was or is or supposed to be an economic risk. That's my simple answer. He's not in the best of position to be making any more promises.
Ishaq, briefly, so that we talk about the Airbus scandal and then
you see, what saddens me is that the opposition MPP and their representatives cannot even accept something. We don't have a consensus as what concerns national interest. Extending driving license to 10 years, what does it cost us? Nothing. It's just a common sense. He was accusing me of being away for far too long. I would urge him to travel around the world. In fact, traveling is actually a positive thing. It gives you the right perspective as to how other people live their life in a much easier way. So he cannot actually tackle this particular issue as having flaws. But simply because it's coming from Bawumia, there's a problem with that. Yet it's not going to cost us money. Yet it's a common sense policy. So when I was actually talking about changing the, what did they call it?
Passport.
The passport from 5 years to 10 years. His first line was to attack. Yet I wasn't even talking a bit about achievement. I was talking about it in terms of common sense policy. As a lawyer, I'm also a nurse. The human body doesn't change as much quickly that you will insist passport should be 5 years simply because our face will change. Children do change, but adults don't. So it makes sense that throughout the world, children one is restricted to 5 years and adult one is 10 years. So if somebody sees common sense in that and change it, that's a good thing. Likewise, driving license, as I've just explained, your driving skills get better
with time.
With time. And yet you are asking people to come and do a test. What for? But you accept that as we age, our eyesight get bad, and 10 years is enough. And if you look internationally, the UK, the United States, Canada, everywhere, that is the system. Do you understand that? And you are even having a duty to report if your eyesight get bad. If we put such safeguards, it will be okay. So why can't him as a representative of the NDC accept this as a common sense policy so that we don't, it's not everything that we have to disagree. No, there are certain things that are in the national interest. You just accept them. But the fact that it's coming from one side, your immediate reaction is to reject, such as the free SHS. Then when it becomes successful, you come to own it. What sense does that make?
Right. So in terms of admitting and accepting, they are also accusing you. Why are you not accepting what the OSP has said concerning the Airbus scandal and the fact that John Dramani Mahama was exonerated?
Is that your next question to me?
Yes. That's
okay. That's quite interesting. Yes. The OSP report, I have read it. I might say there is some good thing that comes out of it. And that good thing tells us that the institutions that we are beginning to build, if you tie it with the Court of Appeal decisions, it tells us our institutions are getting stronger, and that the president has actually given him operational independence to determine how to investigate, and also as OSP to determine the outcome. This is good for us, our democracy.
Right.
So if the NDC accept this, I'm happy that they are happy. But they should equally accept the law gives, the law takes away. If other state institutions or the court made a different decisions, then they try to attack them. This is an opportunity to actually apologize and to say that the systems are working, not just choose and pick. Having said that, when I read the OSP investigations and the conclusion they reach, it troubles me a bit.
How does it trouble you?
It's for a number of ways. For example, I think they took the basis of their, the case originated from the Sodok Court in the United Kingdom by a serious fraud office. I think there was a fact that was agreed between the parties, between the serious fraud office in the UK and that of Airbus. Within that facts, they admitted bribing. If you look at the facts, they admitted bribing. And they admitted there was element of corruption, and they admitted there was inappropriate payment being made. On that basis, that was the basis why they paid a fine of almost 3.6 billion. But remember, it was a deferred prosecution agreement. And with deferred prosecution agreement, I'm not just a lawyer in Ghana, I'm also a lawyer in England and Wales. So I'm familiar with the system. With the fair prosecution agreement, some part of the agreement is sealed, meaning that you and me plus the OSP have no access to them. This is what they did. Now, if you look at the decision that they made in reaching out the deferred prosecution agreement, as everybody would know, in the UK, to bring prosecution against an individual or a company, there are two tests being used: the evidential test and the public interest test. Their acceptance to pay tells me that there was enough evidence to prove that they had made bribery payment, to prove that there was corruption involved, and to prove that there was inappropriate payment. Otherwise, Airbus wouldn't have paid. But then the public interest would have failed because the UK is not the first time. Somewhere 2007, there was a similar investigation against Airbus when they paid bribery to Saudi officials. Tony Blair had to stop it because it was in the public interest. As long as the UK economy or the US economy or the French economy is gaining, They don't want certain secrets to come out. And as part of their deal, they want to conceal their sources. Having said that, if you look further into the case, you can't tell me there was no conflict of interest involved. John Mahama was then the chairman of the Armed Forces Council. He was there as a chairman, wasn't he? It's a fact. He was there as the chairman of the Armed Forces Council. His brother on the other side was in the United Kingdom, negotiating on behalf of Airbus. Is that not enough to tell you there's a conflict of interest? And if there's a conflict of interest, we have got a constitutional structure directing that when there's a conflict of interest issues, it should be given to Shraj. Why was the OSP not referring to Shraj? I have a problem in those particular areas.
Right.
And Mahama is not actually exonerated here. As I said, there would have been a silting. Not having access to evidence doesn't mean the person is exonerated. Sometimes we might not prosecute you because the evidence is not available yet. Who knows? Tomorrow, when the envelopes are unsealed, we may see the real evidence. But then, do we actually need that to say that he's corrupt? No. By his own admission, he was asked directly on BBC, have you ever taken a bribe before? As a head of state, he was hesitant. If you're a lawyer, you ask somebody a question, this kind of question, the person is hesitant, takes time to answer, and then ask for clarification. And his clarification was that, is it as an individual or as a government official? What is the difference? Whether you take bribe as an individual or government official, for me, I struggle to see the difference. For me, by his own admission, he agreed. He has taken bribe before. So it's not completely exonerated.
Right.
Yes.
Osman, the MPP says your excitement about the reports from the OSP is premature. Like you heard, there's more to it.
The problem with the MPP is their inability to accept defeats, and why the person John Dramani Mahama is become a thorn in their flesh, so far as his nature is concerned. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Assemblyman, Member of Parliament, Deputy Minister, Minister of State, Flag Bearer, running mate, Flag Bearer, Vice President, President, is squeaky clean. Is as clean and as innocent as a newborn baby from Kolebo maternity ward. That they need to accept it, whether they like it or not. They are finding it very difficult to accept this report. For us in the NDC, we are not surprised at the outcome or the turn of events so far as the OSP's report or investigation is concerned. Because we know the person John Dramani Mahama and how clean he is, how incorruptible he is, how he cannot be corrupted, how he doesn't do any deals so far as corruption is concerned. I see my brother struggling to mix the issues. He spoke about the issues of the UK, the courts, trying to mix it, and comes down to talk about issue of what did he?
The PDA.
Come again?
The PDA, the deferred agreement.
Not even the deferred agreement. What was your recent charge? What was the recent charge you decided to defer on him, saying that they should take it to Shraj?
Which one? Conflict of interest.
Conflict of interest, yes. So how come, yes. So he roams round, and ends up at conflicts of interest. The simple question I ask the MPP is that after the investigations of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, has there been any corruption found on the person of John Dramani Mahama? And the simple answer is no. The Excellency John Dramani Mahama is innocent. Now you want to shift the goalpost.
They say that the report ended that way because the OSP did not have all the evidence.
I'm coming. Let me finish. Right. Now you want to shift the goalpost. You are a lawyer and you understand how companies work, how the separate legal entities of companies work. How then are you now trying so hard to push down charges of conflict of interest in this matter? I just do not understand. When in recent times, your own finance minister, former finance minister, as finance minister, through the bookmarking and through all his deals, made over 9 million euros. That is conflict of interest. Where a certain finance minister is engaged in borrowing as finance minister and he uses his own company where he holds majority shares, where he used to be the director of that company. That is conflict of interest. Where the president's daughter uses her companies and her associates to procure fraudulent contracts, inflated contracts. That is conflict of interest. Where people within the presidency are seen taking bribe. That is conflict of interest. Where their own running mate, Alhaji Baumia's office, was found to have stolen 10,000 bags of rice. That is conflict of interest, and that is stealing. These are the issues we should be talking about. Instead of trying very hard, very, very hard, where it's not washing, to drag John Dramani Mahama into an airbus scandal. This airbus scandal, wherever you go, wherever you want to go, wherever you want to take His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to, he has told you, I am ready to subject myself to any form of investigation. But we have also said time without number that people like you and your party executives and your government officials should also be ready after 7th January to subject yourself to serious investigations. All those who are hiding monies under their beds, they will be caught. Those who are hiding it in their ceilings, we know they will be caught. Those who are hiding it in polytanks, they will be caught. Some have started putting in septic tanks. We know all those people. They will be caught. Those who are taking it into offshore accounts, we know them. They will be caught. Those who are using it to buy houses outside this country, those who have bought houses in France, that after their tenure they will go and relax, they will be caught. Those who have bought houses at the Guyana Islands, they will all be caught. So let us be very careful. We are not going to leave anybody off the hook. So you here try very hard to implicate John Dramani Mahama. We have told you time without number. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is ready to face any investigative body, be it OSP, be it Shraj, whoever. But we have also told you, beyond 7th January, those who are hiding monies, they will all be caught. And they will cough out the monies. Those who have spent the monies, they will cough it out. Right. So be ready. So my brother, if you've spent money, you will cough it out.
So you see, this is what makes me sad as a Ghanaian. He just said people like me will be caught.
No, I said, I said if.
And yet he's a qualified lawyer.
I said those who have hidden money.
Yes.
I mean, as a lecturer, which time have I hidden any money?
I say you as a person. Unless you are guilty. Are you guilty of that? I didn't say you have hidden money. I said people like you, that's government officials. I said you. I didn't say you as a person. So,
and that also tell me that it does a witch hunt. Instead of waiting for clear evidence we make, he's doing a general speculation.
But the government officials, we found money under people's beds in this country.
You believe the NDC is trying to witch hunt? That is the purpose.
That's what he just perpetuated.
Right.
People like you.
But he says it's accountability.
Well, accountability should always be.
Do you have money under your bed?
Regardless.
Do you have money
if it is under my bed, it's actually my money.
Okay, when we come and we find the money under your bed, and we are able to trace corruption, you will be caught.
My money because I'm not a government official.
Right.
If it is my money, I have decided to take it from the bank and put it under my bed. It is my right to keep whatever I want to keep money. Unless you are telling me there is a law compulsory requiring everybody to put the money in the bank. No. So that's a witch hunt. From the way he says, Ghanaians listening will see that he is threatening to witch hunt his political opponent.
Ghanaians want us to go after corrupt officials.
And he made allegations that I was going around. I couldn't actually touch anything. I mean, the listener will know he wasn't correct. I tell you the genesis of the problem. And I tell you why the special prosecutor might not have evidence as a legal practitioner and somebody who is called to the bar of England and Wales. When agreement of this nature, part of it will be still because of the public interest. The office of the special prosecutor will not have access to that evidence. And not having access to that evidence cannot conclude that somebody has been exonerated.
So for you, this is not the end of the matter?
No, that's not the end. And I went further to say that, but even having said that, Look at somebody who is a chairman of a body trying to purchase aircraft for Ghana, and his brother is a representative on the other side. To you, to the listeners, do you think Ghana will have a proper deal if somebody's brother is representing the interest of another country and he is here? At the end of it, a commission of almost £3.6 million was paid, even though 5 million was promised. Do you think Ghana will have a proper deal?
Well,
there will certainly be conflict.
But the OSP mentioned that, that was done in the interest. In fact, John Mahama's conversations with Airbus was in the rationale was for the public good.
If the rationale was for the public good, why is his brother there? You see, conflict of interest, it doesn't have to be an actual one. Even if it is perceived, it's enough to trigger investigation.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. Well,
I told you, my brother is struggling so hard.
I am not struggling.
He's struggling so hard.
Maybe the listener would understand me. Probably, perhaps you are not understanding.
My brother,
because you went to corporate personality.
My brother,
what has corporate legal personality got to do with
my brother is struggling so hard.
What does corporate personality?
My brother is struggling so hard to tie John Mahama
to
conflict of interest and a transaction.
Look, could you explain to us how corporate personality deal with it?
I'm coming.
Just to throw in legal technologies to confuse us.
You are the one who is throwing legal.
I'm the only one who is not legally biased there. I have two lawyers on the show, and now
it is him and the brother on the other
I'm coming.
What has that got to do with corporate personality?
I'm coming. He's the one who has gone round.
So you have 1 minute, Osman, to wrap it up.
He's the one who has gone round in circles and thrown legal jargons around and confusing everybody. I'm sure his students are also confused by now.
My student will tell you.
His students will be confused by now. Today their lecture is going round.
My students will tell you. I'm one of the people. I'm one of the few people who speak English when I'm teaching. I don't speak legalese.
You spoke about conflict of interest. Where is the conflict of interest? Two companies, one a company dealing with a country, another company dealing with that company, and you say that the relationship between two companies can result or amount to a conflict of interest on a person who is in Ghana. How does conflict of interest arise here?
Interesting.
Is John Mahama a director of that company? No.
Okay.
His brother is a separate person. His company also is a legal entity on its own. That's why I told you that hasn't he or he should revert his mind to the principle of separate.
10 seconds. 10 seconds.
This conflict of interest matter. He keeps going round
just 15 seconds. We have to go.
Today he's going round and round and round.
If that is
really align the matter
from. The case of Adam versus Cape Industry. What did the court say the grounds for lifting the corporate veil? If there's perpetuation of fraud.
So how is there fraud in this matter? How is there fraud in this matter?
Gentlemen, we have to go.
Your students will not be happy.
Listen.
Your students will not be happy.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you.
You are going round and round the matter.
You have to do your research properly. My students have confidence.
We need to go.
His students will not be happy today because he keeps going round the matter.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Well, it always gets interesting and exciting here when we have to talk about Mother Ghana, but we all do this in the interest of the nation. And I'd like to thank the gentleman. Ishaq is here in the interest, representing the interest of the NPP. Ishaq Ibrahim, he is a lawyer and is also the head of, or the lead lecturer in human rights law at UPA Law School. And then there's Osman Ayariga. He is deputy national youth organizer of the NDC. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time this morning. And as they make their way out of the studio, I'm sure that you're also wondering, what can you have for breakfast? Well, let me tell you about Full Cup, because they offer you a wide range of meals starting from English breakfast. So if you are like Ishaq and you've had a stint in the UK and you want to have a feel of proper UK breakfast, please, Full Cup is where you need to go. American breakfast, we're talking brunch platters, freshly squeezed juice, jollof with chicken, goat, turkey, fried rice with chicken, goat or turkey, yam chips, spicy wings, fufu, and goats available. Those of us who don't take breakfast, this is what we take for breakfast. Well, we are available for you at Full Cup for corporate setups and other events, all you need to do is to take note of the following numbers: 059 144 1238, 059 144 1238, or call 0244 253 571. And we are located at Kanda, number 9 Ablade Road, around the Kanda roundabout, and Tesano inside Ghana Telecom University. We also do delivery, and so please get in touch with Full Cap and make sure that your breakfast is sorted. From English to American to Ghanaian, we've got you covered. We'll be right back after this break. Thank you so much for staying on with us right here on GH Today on GHOne television. Just gone by was the breakfast review segment. Always heated, that segment, but it's time to now bring you health alert. So this morning on Health Alert, you are looking at a science conference coming up, and I'm particularly excited because anytime I hear science, it takes me back to my secondary school days. And so this morning we are talking about the Phyto Science Ghana Conference, and I'm joined in the studio by two wonderful people. One you have seen, one you've heard, one you know, one we'll get to know shortly. I have Kodjo. He is from Phyto Science Ghana. Kweku, how are you doing?
How do you, sir?
You're doing well.
Seriously.
You are scientifically well.
Strong.
Welcome to the studios one more time. And I also have the one that you know, you've seen, you've heard, Nana Ifua Santowa Anomatewa the first.
Well done.
I want to find out Anomatewa, I mean.
Anomatewa, Obi Ananwate. Somebody who speaks well.
Right. Okay, so you are no haste. Wow. And you are the first. Fantastic. She's ambassador for Phyto Science Ghana. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. By God's grace.
By God's grace. Amazing. So tell us about you and science, Phyto Science. What is happening?
When you mentioned science in the secondary school, you scared me because
really?
I'm not a science person.
Right.
I'm an entertainment person. Yeah. So Phyto Science Ghana.
Right.
It's, of course, you mentioned health. And when you talk about health, health is a very important aspect of our lives. And it's not just anything about health. You have to, he knows much about the stem cell issues. But I am here basically to talk about the biggest conference happening in Ghana on 31st August.
It's happening on the 31st of August.
Yeah, this month at the Wesley Towers. And it's not just about the conference. I come in as a brand ambassador and a tourism ambassador for Ghana. And since we are expecting a number of people from all the African countries, and the CEO and the co-founder also coming from Malaysia.
Wow.
It means that I have a lot of responsibilities on my shoulders. It's not about the health only, it's about making sure that they explore Ghana, eat Ghana, wear Ghana. And also, you know that I always look young, right? People ask, Ifwa, how old are you?
Yes.
Do you know my age?
I
Guess.
28.
Why the 8? Yes, it's because of Phyto Science Ghana.
Wow.
They have very good products. It's not like a herbal stuff, but they have very good products that keeps me going and keeps me stronger.
Right.
And I'm excited to be part of the family. And so Kodjo.
Yes. I'll come to Kodjo now because the fair is on the 21st. The conference.
The conference.
What exactly on the 31st of August? What exactly is it about?
Yes, Phyto Science has been having a lot of conferences. We recently from Tanzania, Uganda, Dubai, Malaysia. But what makes Ghana conference so special? We can't come to Africa without come to Ghana.
You are the gateway.
So the co-founder, which is the Ponsli Data City Latin, who is a Malaysian, the CEO, Dr. Ulito, and the corporate advisor, they are coming to Ghana to explore Ghana, to know much about Ghana, because I've heard a lot about it. I recently, when we were in Tanzania, the co-founder said that her friends were telling her that you shouldn't come to Africa. Africa is bad. But when he came, he realized that we are special people. That is the reason why the people of Ghana, we need to be there August 31st.
So on the 31st, who is coming? Because me, I want to know.
Yes.
You mentioned some names. If I try mention those names, right, I'll be.
You see why I said go to Kodjo?
Yes, good. So it's open, but these are the target people. If we say that it's about health, wealth, and culture, if you want total health, particularly natural treatment, Phyto Science plant-based stem cell from the Bible chemistry is number one. Stem cell treatment, regenerative treatment.
And do you know stem cell?
Yes, I know stem cell.
Yes.
Hey,
So,
why?
Me a science of percent.
yeah. So the stem cell is now is the new phase of medicine.
Right.
So we can only talk about the originality of stem cell. We cannot mention, if you don't mention Phyto Science, then you are not talking about original stem cell. The original plant-based stem cell globally is Phyto Science. That is the reason why if you are looking for natural basic chronic ailment, then you need to be on Phyto Science plant-based stem cell. Now, wealth. How can you market Phyto Science plant stem cell and enrich yourself? That is the reason
Why is Kodjo telling you everything?
No, Kodjo must tell me because he must pull it out from
hold
me.
on. You have to be at the conference.
I want to be there.
You have to.
Yes.
But it's like he's telling. So why would you come in?
No, he's telling me why I should be there.
But he's giving you too much details.
No, you just left out the wealth part. Everybody wants to be
And
there.
that is why I want you to come and listen to it on the 31st.
So people who are looking for opportunities, Phyto Science will give it to you. People who want to exploit various cultures, that is the reason why you need to be there. Because with our brand ambassador, who is in charge of tourism, will help you to explore Ghana. Do you know that many people in Kumasi don't know Accra? Do you know many people in Accra don't know Kumasi? Do you know that many people don't know Tamale?
Why are you talking to me like that?
The reason is
no, so he just sold himself out. Do you know why? He's coming from Kumasi. He couldn't find his way here. So he doesn't know Accra.
And that's where you come in to bridge the gap.
I'm taking myself out of this conversation before Kumasi people will come for me. Who said Kumasi people do not know Accra?
I'm using myself as an example.
So say I am coming from Kumasi. I don't know Accra.
Yes, so that is the reason if you're in Ghana, there are a lot of vital places that you know with the help of Sister Fia and Phyto Science International, particularly Ghana one, will help you know a lot of places in Ghana.
So how are you going to help us know? I mean, bringing health, bringing wealth, bringing culture, bridging all of those.
So, the CEO, the co-founder, and all the leaders will be here for a period of 1 week.
Okay.
And we have an outline program for them. So it's not just about the conference on 31st August. We will have some, lunch and safari experience, and we'll be visiting the Afajato.
Okay.
I'll be going with you as well.
Yes.
You need to build a stronger immune system, and so we'll be climbing the Afajato, visiting the monkey sanctuary and all that. I want them to feel Ghana proper. But on arrival, we'll be touring the Kwame Nkrumah Museum and many other places. When you Google tourist sites in Accra, Google, you see Makola and other listed places there. But there are very, very interesting places that are not cited on the internet.
Right.
That the world needs to know about Ghana. When you arrive in most of the countries, especially Dubai, immediately you sit in the taxi, you see the driver will go like, "Madam, would you like to visit this place? I can take you here, I can take you there." Already he's marketing the country for you. That is what I want to do. So jumping on this project with Phyto Science Ghana is a big deal for me and for Phyto Science Ghana. Yeah.
So who is to be a part of this conference on the 31st?
All right. Basically, I'm a women empowerment advocate.
Yes.
So of course, to my women first. You men, you already have money. So
you think so?
Yes, men have money. Naturally, you're blessed.
You see,
just have to work
affirmative
for it.
action.
Yeah, so everybody can be at the conference.
Right.
From 18 years and above till the oldest person alive who is interested in her health or his health, wealth, and then culture. It's open, it's free. It's free. And
health, wealth, and culture is free.
Yes. Networking. Yes.
Wow.
There are so many people coming into the country. You need to. Ghanaians don't like to network. You're always at home. Why? If not here.
Me?
Yes. If not for the show, you'll be home.
No.
So there will be networking opportunities as well, and there will be item 13.
And all this is for free?
Yes.
Courtesy Phyto Science Ghana?
Yes. And because the CEO and the co-founder are coming to town, and the African director is also a Ghanaian.
Oh, wow.
So Ghana, we are blessed.
And please run me through the dates again. And quickly take your time so that people can jot it down and know where it is happening and know what time they should be there.
Yeah, so the program, the main event is 31st August, but we have like from 29th, Ghana will be busy. So 29th, those of you outside, you need to be here, book your hotels so that you can meet the co-founder, the CEO, and the corporate advisor. It's very important, the VIP airport. It's very, very important. And 30th, we have a lot of interaction. That's where the networking will come in. You see, last year I was in Lagos. I went to a conference like this, and that changed my life. So if you are looking for opportunity to network yourself, it's very, very good. You don't know that you can get the serious business outside the country. Maybe you're looking for opportunities, you are not getting it. Somebody that you meet at the program will change your life. There's this one who goes to the married couples. At time you need bonding. This is the time for 1 week, which is the fear is serious. That is the time you can have a lot of fun with your husband.
Tone down.
Please.
My wife is watching, so tone down.
No, as a trim or custom.
No, she says that's why you are there. 1 week of bonding.
Yes. It's very, very important. Some people, because of their busy schedules, there's no time for them to have time with their family. This is the time for you to be part of it. Tell your husband, tell your wife that this program will need to be there. Then on the 31st, that is Saturday, that is where the main program will come on. You have been battling with chronic disease. You think that is the end. Phyto Science plant stem cell will give you that there's a second chance for you. What second chance will Phyto Science gives you? Phyto Science stem cell will give you preparation to prepare your cells, to give you enough cells to fight all the foreign material in your body. Second one, you remove all the toxins from your system and you have a free body.
But honestly, there are testimonies to this.
A lot of testimonies.
I am a kind of person, I'm not so much into health products and stuff, and you know, we've had similar products in the past, so I needed to really be sure of the brand that I'm associating myself with, and I put pressure on them that I want to meet certain people who have used the product and can really attest that it works, and I can confirm that I'm with the right brand.
And even if you still have doubts, on the 31st you see for yourself.
So bring your wife.
Oh, but you... Hello. We are talking about the conference and then
no, he said he was actually speaking to you and the viewers. Okay, so
my viewers who are watching us this morning, forget about it. How can they be a part of it? You say it's free. Do we need to pre-register somewhere, or we just need to show up?
Just show up. And he mentioned that we would have visitors coming in to patronize our hotels. That is revenue for Ghana as well. I always pray that we will get such massive events in Ghana. It will really boost our revenue income. And so it's not just about the conference, it's not just about health, it's not just about culture, it's about yeah, so health, wealth, culture, tourism, and then revenue. Yeah, because on that day I'm sure there'll be vendors around to you know, make some cash.
All right, so please, I'll come back and take your final words, but Anomatewa the first, when did I want to add up to your
see it will, and you shall be charged.
Okay, that one the first.
It's Nana Ifwa Anomatewa the first.
Right.
Yes, so my coronation took place, I think, about 2 weeks ago in Bremanisiam.
Okay.
That's where I come from.
Right.
I'm a Fanti Eastern Ashanti. I'm from 3 places, but I'm a Ghanaian in general. Yeah. So it was an honor done me. I'm the Nkoswahima of that area. And I have so many plans for the youth there. I already have 30 scholarships on standby that I'm going to release for the youth there.
Wow.
And many other stuff. So I'm officially a Queen Mother now, so please.
Hey, Nanahima.
But, do you know, I saw a comment somewhere. Someone said, hey, so when Nanahima be in a box and sing again.
Oh,
yes, I promoting Ghana culture.
Right. All right, final words. Let me come to you, Nana.
Yes,
and then I'll come to Nana too.
Good. Final words, and person we can make room kasa.
Okay, can we kasa? Nana.
Baby, be ala we me free bia no. Mo am double K kwakudua. Mesrem program we dey abamo bia. Aya ade ba kwa me pese ni padwe ho pa ne se. Wadwen ho da se wo ka ene oni padua de ne ye adwuma kese. Wotimi fa wo ka na odi akọ se omo ncheki se ka ne tire, brake ye, light ye. Ubeye we nyina filters na be ye. Na so fa ni padua enko ma se yen scan order. So person wotimi scan ho bra wa ye too busy dia. Me so no Phyto Science prime time say. But modern say 31st August amwa ebebu obi. This is a new phase of health. But say one tiasia ebeye den and wetima bo obi. aya sade eni ba akofo ho mpanyimfo se woton yare a ene wonya anu aduru na so wo ka kire Phyto Science e wonya so be ka kire obia bio
chale bas nana
Pacho wa kan ni na che yo ka se mi kan so fi kuma se
they say wan kaka
e to so nka fantiana because nana dey say
eni bia na me so makan igbe ni ko eni
okay inti me pa won chopi there them August 31st you hear one Mr. Please, I'm inviting you all to the Wesley Towers on August 31st, and it's going to be an opportunity that you wouldn't want to miss. In life, it's all about networking, it's all about stepping out of your comfort zone and making sure that you grab all the opportunities you can. And also, the most expensive thing on earth is health. You can buy all the wigs with you. I came with my short hair. I buy all the necessary wigs, but when they introduce a drug to me, then I'm running away. We hate to spend on our health, but it's the most. I felt sick and I couldn't do anything. I was lying down looking at all the things that I bought. I couldn't even put one on to do a TikTok video. So health is really, really important, and I encourage you all to be at the Wesley Towers on 31st August, including you.
31st August. Yes. Let me do it. Sibemia and interviewer ta akpenami kaka. I'm sure my forefathers are so disappointed in me this morning. But thank you, lady and gentlemen, for and it's the 31st at the Wesley Towers.
Yes.
The Ghana Phyto Science.
Close to British Council.
Right. So it's the Phyto Science Ghana Convention. You must be a part of it. So see me there on the 31st of August. Let's all be there. Your numbers? Okay, quickly, so that we go.
So,
if someone wants to...
Yeah, if you want to reach out to us, Dr. Boaten, number 057270
Okay.
And then myself,
05921933.
Yes,
99. Okay.
He doesn't know what he just did.
Thank you very much. We'll be calling you for directions.
Everybody in Ghana will call him.
So Nana, if was Antewa Anomatewa the first.
Thank you.
And then Nana Kwikudia, it says it's called K. Challenge.
Sure, yeah.
K. Thank you so much. K52. That's how you save the number. All right. Thank you so much. And that's it for Health Alerts. We'll be right back. Stay with us, please. For sticking and staying with us right here on GH today. And today I'm really excited about this segment of the show because I've been joined by some wonderful people, and I'll let them do me the honors and tell me their names. So let me start from the girl on my immediate left. What's your name?
Please, my name is Lois Laomton.
What?
Lois Laomton.
Are you Ghanaian?
Yes, please.
Hey, Lois Laomton.
Yes, please.
From which part of Ghana?
Upper East region.
Oh, Upper East. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Pass it on to your name.
Please, my name is Apreku Amua Listowell.
Oh, Listowell, we can't hear you well. Oh.
My name is Apreku Amua Listowell.
Apreku Amua Listowell. Yes, fantastic. Please. You are Ghanaian, I can tell. All right, pass it on.
Please, my name is Janat Fidal Sadat.
Ah, Janat Fidal Sadat. You are my friend for today. Your voice is really, really macho. Thank you. Pass it on.
Please, my name is Delina Pepra Setre.
Delina Pepra Setre. Okay. Yes. All right. And there is one who is not a kid. So, yeah. Just pass it on to her.
My name is Maxwell.
Maxwell. Yes, so, Maxwell, these wonderful kids, I see Star Kids in the shirt you're wearing. Yes, Tell me about Star Kids.
Okay. Star Kids is a reality show for kids. Basically, you know, when you're watching talented shows, mostly it's in Accra and Kumasi. But we, those in Ahafo, Bono East and Bono region, we've put together this reality show. So it's purposely for kids.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sure.
And it's primarily centered in the Bono region?
Yes, sure.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. So what exactly is at stake for these wonderful ones? And are these the only ones in the competition? Tell me, how did it go about?
Currently, they are left with 8, the finalists, and the others are on other TV stations as well. So they are here. And we have the grand finale on the 1st of September. Okay. So we are here to have a media tour.
Fantastic. So let me come back to the wonderful kids. Smile for me, smile for me. Don't you like my face? My face is nice. So tell me, what is your talent?
My talent is to dance.
You're a dancer?
Yes.
So which dances do you do? You can dance to any song.
Yes. Please.
Today you will dance for me before you go. Okay. All right. Pass it on. Let me find out. What is your talent?
Please, my talent is a poem.
You are a poet?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Please. So can you say a poem about me right now?
Yes.
Hey. Okay. I put you to the test. Say one poem for me.
Mpenifo amashamuha atsimwafo enimunyanemufra mechiachiamu ahinewa edia mejiso na janna Madifienko, Marissa Mebikai, Matunidis.
Hey, Jana, hey, one what's you? Your mouth has tear. One what's it? Pass it on to this gentleman. Gentleman, so what's your talent?
Please, I'm a drummer.
You're a drummer?
Yes,
so
please.
Can you play Defe?
Yes, please.
You can play how long have you been playing drums?
Since childhood.
And how old are you now?
I'm 11 years.
And you've been playing since you were a baby?
Yes.
Wow.
No, not like a baby, but when I was in class 1 going.
Oh, okay, fantastic. So pass it on. Yes, what's your talent?
I am a fashion designer, specifically for women, for now.
Hey! You see, she realized that I'll ask her to sew for me, so she decided that she's not going. You're doing fashion design. Did you design what you're wearing?
Yes, please.
How old are you?
Please, I'm 13 years. I just turned 13 years a month ago.
And you designed what you're wearing?
Yes, please.
Wow, amazing. So fantastic talents.
Yes, sure.
I'm sure it's not been an easy journey for you.
Yeah, it's not an easy journey though. But you know, definitely for us to get these talents, I mean, it's amazing. Right?
So what's the end game? What are they all going for?
Okay, first of all, the winner is going to go home with 10,000 Ghana cedis plus a trip to abroad, and the
Hey, so who is going? Please take me when you are going. So 10,000 cedis cash, and then a trip abroad.
Yes.
Wow. For the winner.
Yes, sure.
Okay. And other prizes?
Yes. The second will get 7,000 with souvenirs. The third 5,000 with souvenirs, and the others too, they will get some gift as well. Oh, and what is most important is that they have project each of them is going to do. For instance, with Lulu Stage, since she's from the Upper East, what she's saying is that when she wins, she's going to sew 1,000 uniform for the students in the Upper East region. Yes, sure.
Wonderful, wonderful. And so, pick one. 10,000. What are you going to do with the money?
I'm going to ask my teacher said, I am going to use that money to sew 1,000 clothes for all the people.
Okay.
Students.
All right, pass it on quickly. 10,000. Buy new drums.
I'm planning to be one of the biggest or greatest engineers, so that I'll help my colleagues or collaborate with other artists to help them make their own music, and help also my colleagues to also learn the drums and play in the absence of the elders.
Charlie, hey, you're a big man. Pass it on. 10,000 cities. What is your project?
Please, I would like to share it to my families and others that need it, so that they won't be poor.
So will you give me some?
Yes.
Hey! All right, how about you?
I will use the money to buy incubators for premature babies at the hospital.
You don't buy things for yourself. People don't like money. You are doing it out for people. That's beautiful. All right. So we wish you all the best, and may the best person win 1st of September. Where is it happening?
Usbet Hotel in Sian.
Usbet, that place too is fine.
Yeah.
Charlie, if I get money, I'll come. And I'll come and watch you people perform. Okay. So final words as we wrap up this part.
Okay, first of all, I want to thank you for the opportunity, and also I'm speaking to the people in the Bono East and a half. You know, doing these things that is not an easy task,
right.
But however, we encourage them, they should support us so that we can do much better, so that it won't always be Accra and Kumasi. Sure.
Charlie, so Usbet Hotel is the venue, the 1st of September, Star Kids Grand Finale. Winner goes home with 10,000 CDs and then a trip abroad. And these wonderful kids say they don't want to keep the money, they want to help others with their cash prize. So guys, thank you so much. We'll be rooting for you. And like I said, if I get plane tickets, I'll come to Usbet and come and watch you guys. So do have a wonderful day. And this is still GA Today right on GHOne Television. We'll be right back after this. We are getting into a conversation on hospitality, getting to know exactly how the industry is transforming. And I'm privileged to be joined in studio this morning by a man who I'm going to allow to introduce himself because I'm not sure I'll be able to get it right. But welcome. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. So I see Yusuf Olela. Tell me I got it right.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, good. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you, and thank you so much for having me. As you mentioned, my name is Yusuf Olela. I'm from Kenya.
Right.
So I'm Kenyan by birth and Ghanaian by choice.
Oh.
This is where I stay. This is where I do my trade in the hospitality industry. I've been in the hospitality industry for 26 years.
26 years?
Having worked in different countries.
Right.
Yes.
And how is the experience in terms of the hospitality industry in Ghana?
Quite exciting, and the reason why I'm saying is quite exciting is because Ghana, to be honest with you, is one of the leading emerging destinations if you look at West Africa and even in Africa as well. And I think there's a lot of work that has been done to really prioritize tourism as one of the ways of diversifying the economy of Ghana.
Right.
But there's still a lot more that can be done. Yes.
So you see opportunities for growth in the industry?
Absolutely, absolutely. If you look at the statistics that we have, before COVID, the arrival in this country was around 1.16 million guests coming through, especially after a very successful packaging and marketing of the year of return. That was affected by COVID, but if you look at the numbers for 2023, we're actually back where we are before, where we're already getting arrival above 1 million.
Right.
So if you look at that, and if you look at the opportunities that we have in terms of developing the destination that we have in this country, then you could only say that the better part of the tourism growth is yet to be realized. Yes.
And so let's narrow it down now, talking about specifics about the institution that you serve in as managing director, talking about the Alisa Hotel. I mean, it's not too far from here.
Yes.
And general manager rather of Alisa Hotel is one of the places that you go to, and one of the things I can't let go of is your food. I don't know how you go about it, but tell me about the Alisa Pavilion.
So thank you so much. So basically, Alisa Hotel has been a very responsive brand, and as you know the history, we started from a very humble beginning in Labone and grown to where we are one of the largest hotels in terms of room inventory and conference facilities, and we've expanded to Tema as well, one of the flagship brands there. So looking at the demand for larger conference facilities, that is how the idea of Alisa Pavilion came up. So Alisa Pavilion, you have the largest conference facilities that we have at the moment that can take up to a maximum of 1,000 delegates. But we also added a lounge to it, a restaurant lounge, and our restaurant lounge called Oasis Lounge is to go to place. So it's your dining destination, but in a very lounge setup. And then we looked at how could we scale up in terms of our executive meeting experience. Then we added 2 executive boardrooms to it. So that is basically why we came up with this product as part of our growth going into the future.
So Alisa Pavilion is a product?
Yes.
Right. Which involves all that you've talked about in terms of the conferencing facilities, the lounge experience at the restaurants, and is it available at all the Alisa spaces?
So the pavilion is basically next to our tennis court at the back of the main hotel building.
Okay.
And it does not only have the conference facility and the boardroom and the Oasis Lounge, it also has an outdoor lush garden. So you could also do a lot of events. So whether it's a product launch, whether it's a wedding, whether it's just a normal day meetings, is a place that gives you a blend of all experiences when it comes to hospitality experience.
You talk about dining experience in the Oasis Lounge, giving you the lounge feel to your dining experience. Tell me more about it and how you're positioning that in the market space. You mentioned that we are seeing growth in the hospitality industry. Clearly, it's very competitive there.
Yes. And what we realize, and this is also from guest feedback, that people are looking for a place which is cozy, but they can also be able to mix business and pleasure. So the lounge is where you could do your breakfast business meeting, your lunch business meeting, but you could also unwind in the evening with a good selection of our variety of menus and drinks, but also be able to really enjoy low volume but very cozy kind of atmosphere in the evening. So it's a very nice blend. And this is because we're looking for people like you after a very busy day to just go to our Oasis Lounge and unwind. Yes.
Quite interesting. And in terms of entertainment, because I know, like you mentioned, the numbers, you're seeing the numbers go back to pre-COVID times and all of that. So we're seeing leisure travelers coming in and all of that. What should they expect in terms of entertainment when it comes to Alisa?
So thank you so much. So already we are running various themes that runs from Monday to Sunday every week. But most of the popular is that we have our barbecue on Friday with a live band. We have our brunch on Sunday with a live band. And then we are running themes at our table bay. So table bay is where if you want to be like in a place where you want to do a bit of clubbing, so we are running different themes, the Funky Fridays, the Wacky Wednesdays. So there's a lot of activities that happens at our table bay. So at Alisa, you probably get everything that you're looking for. If you want it cozy, low profile kind of atmosphere, you go to Oasis Lounge. If you're really into dancing and partying, you go to Table Bay. If you just want to have your nice barbecue with wide selection, you go to our pool barbecue on Fridays. And also we have a lot of themes that we are running in our Atlantic. So there's just a choice for everyone at Alisa.
So regardless of what entertainment means to you, there's a package at Alisa that meets that demand.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Yes.
And you mentioned that, yes, you saw growth and you introduced the branch in Tema. Well, what is the plan in terms of Alisa and growth?
So if you look at our vision is to the beacon of the hospitality industry in Ghana and beyond.
Right.
And that speaks to some of the development that we've started, the projects that we've started. You remember we went into a greenfield project in Tema, and that is really doing very well. And the future plan is to basically expand Tema. We've also done a lot of product improvement at the Alisa North Ridge, and we plan to basically come up with an annex within the North Ridge.
Okay.
But beyond that, we think that the brand has grown to a point where we need to want to see more of our footprints within Ghana, and that is something that we want to embark on. But it will all depend on so many micro variables, because if you look at the status of the economy, the cost of money is expensive, and that is why in my previous engagement I'm saying that the industry needs more incentives for people to really invest. Because cost of money is very high, the interest rate is very high, is one of the highest in the region. And then so it becomes very difficult or very costly for people to embark on tourism investment. But that is exactly what we need to open up tourism to this country.
And in that stead, what role can government play? What role can the tourism authority play? Because you're not only serving to people's needs, you're also expanding the frontiers of tourism in the country.
Yeah, so thank you so much. So we have GTA, which the way it's been modeled is more of looking at the quality assurance, but also providing an enabling environment for people to invest in. Then you have the Ghana Tourism Development Corporation that basically also look at how they could help investors get into the partnership. Then you also have GIPC that looks at the tourism promotion and that. But what I see is probably not available, which like I told you, I come from Kenya.
Right.
Is that Kenya historically basically developed a tourism development corporation as a bank, where you could actually borrow on a consolidated fund with low interest, and then you can now provide that necessary investment to develop. That is what we are lacking here. I know you could structure different loans from different commercial banks, but you need a very deliberate in terms of how people can access funds to build into the industry.
Right.
And I think that is where, one, the government could do much. Number two, maybe Ghana need to consider basically having a tourism development corporation that just focuses on marketing, that is fully funded by the exchequer. If you look at the kind of money that countries like South Africa or even Rwanda, the small country Rwanda, you see the advertisement in Visit Rwanda on Arsenal t-shirts. is a huge investment there. So there's still more that we need to do to basically drive more numbers coming to this country. And that is only through funding your marketing activities. And I think at the moment, the funds that are allocated in that space is not adequate to realize the numbers that we are realizing. 1 million arrival is not where we want to be. Those numbers should be tripled, and it can be done. Yes.
And I'm very sure that looking at the industry, the fact that it's very capital intensive, these things would really mitigate the cost of investing in the tourism industry and also push the agenda. But let's talk about customer service, because it's key.
Yes.
It's one of the things that you cannot do without in terms of hospitality.
Yes.
What's Alisa's position on that?
So that is actually our focus area, and if you look at our vision and mission, is that we basically exist to offer unrivaled guest experience to our customers. And that means that everything that we do, from the recruitment and training of our staff, we make sure that they understand what guest experience means. So we are very customer centric. Everything that we do, from the meeting rooms to our rooms to the food that we offer, we basically make sure that we align them to the guest needs. And is one of what I consider myself, even as a GM, as KPIs, that we monitor guest feedback and we respond to them. And we make sure that every time we improve on whatever we are offering, to align ourselves to meet and exceed the guest expectations. Yes.
Quite interesting. And how has that journey been so far?
It's been quite exciting. There's always been opportunity for improvement.
Right.
But I think we've always known as the place where you would get the best when it comes to professionalism, and people are very friendly, well-trained, and would be able to really respond and anticipate guest needs. Yes.
Interesting. And there's always been the conversation that one of the challenges we have is that there's a sharp disconnect between what is being taught in the schools and then the industry requirements. How are you able to merge the two in terms of getting staff? Do you retrain them? What exactly is the process like for you?
So that is true, and that challenge is not only unique to Ghana, where the needs of the customers continues to change all the times, and we are moving in different generations. Right now, we're talking about majority of us. I'm a Gen Z, and now you have millennial, and then the Gen Z is just coming in. I'm a Gen X, and they are millennium, and then the Gen Zs are actually coming in, and they all have different needs. So what the industry needs to do, which they have not done, is to really invest in research, number one. Two, have a collaboration and interfacing with the industry players so that they would be able to be assisted in terms of curriculum development. And number four, what I see as now a challenge which is unique to Ghana is that we don't have a proper facilitated hotel school in Ghana.
Right.
Which is practically where they need to develop their modules based on practicals. You see, if you are training a nurse, you have an hospital next by. When you are training the hoteliers here, you don't have a practicing hotel. So they rely so much on the internship that now they do to different hotels, and that is not adequate. So you need to develop infrastructure around the universities and colleges that are actually training people who want to work in the hospitality industry. And beyond that, I think we probably just need to find different partners in different institutions that we can partner up with to help us really deliver the right curriculum that is aligned to the industry need, because the industry need keeps on changing.
So are there best practices we could adopt from other parts?
I would easily say Kenya Utalii College in Kenya, which basically has the hotel school that they send their students there for practicals, and also they have different partner universities where they take the academic staff to.
Okay.
Because you can only give people what you know. So one of the investment is to develop academic staff to expose them. Because if, for example, you bring in somebody who is an hospitality lecturer, but he's never been walked into my space, he's never worked in the hotel industry, then there's already a gap.
That's it.
So that is where I could draw some best practice from. And what has happened over a period of time, I know that OTCAT through the ministries has been in conversation with the Kenya Utalii College, and I think some MOUs are either been signed or are yet to be signed, and that's a good step.
Okay.
Yes.
So talking about the industry, I mean, finally, how do you see the industry evolve in the next, say, 5 years to a decade?
The future looks brighter for Ghana. The excitement that we are having in this destination, and you see initially people were thinking that the year of return is only bringing in the African Americans who want to create that sense of identity again. But we've seen, so right now in terms of international arrival, America is number one, followed by UK, and then of course our brothers Nigerians are really traveling here. But we've seen a lot of interest coming from other African countries. So the future is bright.
The future is
bright. But we also need to keep our focus on domestic tourism.
Okay.
Because what COVID has taught us is that if you can build your numbers within the country, then that will sustain you over a period of time.
Right.
Countries, if you go to Europe, the highest number of people who visit Europe are Europeans.
Europeans, right?
Yeah. So it's the same thing that we need to have Ghanaians visiting our tourism destination. At the moment it's 50-50. We need to get to where the domestic tourism is getting into 60. But not only on numbers, but also on spend as well. Definitely. So the opportunities looks very bright.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yusuf Olela, it's been a pleasure, and I'm sure that in the coming days we'll have more conversations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so
we hope that.
Right. So the screen on your screens now, you see the new pavilion and the Oasis Lounge. That's it. A very beautiful space that you can't afford to miss out on. And so if you're celebrating your birthday, go there. Your weddings, take the weddings there. Go and have the receptions there, and make it a point that, Charlie, you also celebrate yourself sometimes. Every Friday you can go ahead and have a good time there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And you're most welcome to
General
Alisa
Manager
Pavilion.
For Alisa Hotel, and it's been amazing. And if you are celebrating your birthday, happy birthday to you. We have some few birthdays to roll, and so this one is to Honorable Joseph Pemka. He is Deputy Managing Director of BOST. Stay blessed and enjoy your day. And that's from Simon Agianab, the Dean of Parliamentary Press Corps. Happy birthday to you, Honorable Joseph Pemka. And I'm sure that you'll be going to Alisa for your birthday celebration. I hope this day brings you an abundance of happiness and love. May all your dreams come true, and may you continue to create wonderful memories and share laughter for many more years to come. Happy birthday, Abigail. Sending you love and warm wishes. So this one is from Sir Ino, and it's to Fafa Brown, 7 with the United Nations Peace Mission at Sudan. Fafa, happy birthday to you from Sir Ino. Do we have more birthdays this morning? Right. So this is from Solomon Ahiable, and it's to Stanley Novice Gata. He's lecturer at the Ho Technical University and school coordinator for Ho Technical University Business School. Happy birthday to you, sir.